Our next commentary of the day from Villa Park. Everton looking for their first points of the season. Go to an Aston Villa side who are looking forward to the Champions League getting underway this week. And at Villa Park, for us, Conor McNamara and Paul Robinson.
Thanks very much, Mark. Yes, you mentioned the good weather at Edgbaston. We're only down the road, of course, and it is nothing but blue azure overhead. Not a single cloud in the sky. As Aston Villa, in their claret and blue, get ready to start the match. We've had the Premier League anthem played here. The next time there'll be an anthem ahead of kick-off. When the Villa game involved will be in midweek when they go to Young Boys, the start of the Champions League, the reward for finishing in the top four last season. And there is a buoyant optimism around Villa Park. You can tell the supporters feel this is a big week for the club. We are underway. Villa did not win the toss. They're attacking the Holt end. Everton in their change strip. Pale white shirts, grey shorts, white socks will play from right to left as we look down. Pau Torres plays a ball into Youri Tielemans, put under pressure by Dwight McNeil on the edge of his penalty area, and he retreats back to goalkeeper Emi Martinez, who had quite a few air miles over the international break. He played for Argentina against Chile and Colombia. James Rodriguez, by the way, former Everton player, scored the winning goal for Colombia in that game. As Evertonians who've come and have filled up their allocation of seats far side of Villa Park from us, hoping they're going to see better today after what's been a torrid start to the season. First big challenge in the midfield sees a foul by Idrissa Gana Gueye on Amadou Onana, who's up against his old teammates, of course, and that is a free kick to Aston Villa on the halfway line. Paul Robinson.
Well, Villa Park's a picture today, isn't it? Sell-out crowd here, and two teams looking for a result for very, very different reasons. We all know the poor start that Everton have had. Aston Villa only losing one at home against Arsenal, a decent performance. As you say, Conor, with the Champions League starting this week, it's a pivotal point in the season. This early on, you feel for both sets of supporters.
Everton have yet to score a first half goal this season. Onana rolls the ball to John McGinn, who has begun this game on the right hand side, with Ramsey a little bit more to the left. I'll give you a full run down the teams in just a moment, but 0-0 early stages at Villa Park. Aston Villa against Everton. Let's get an update from the Gulf with correspondent Ian Carter.
First blood of the afternoon session to the United States in spectacular style. Alison Lee holding out for an eagle from the fairway at the second. So she and Megan Kang go one up against Anna Nordqvist and Madeline Sagström in the first of the afternoon. 4 balls, remember, the United States leading 8-4 after this morning's session was shared.
Thanks very much, Ian. Coverage of the Solheim Cup from 8:30 this evening on 5 Live after 6:06. You can watch highlights on BBC 2 at midnight. Harrison's possession for Everton, far side of the pitch from us. Right hand side as the visitors come forward. He's crowded out, ball goes out of play. Last touch off Luca Dean, again another who's playing against his old team today, and that's a throw in for Everton, and Ashley Young, who has started at right back.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. You can dress these two formations up as you like, but actually out of possession they're a 4-4-1-1. We look at all these new fluidity, the new changing of positions, the new changing of formations, but actually these two are very, very rigid in the way that they play. Only slight change today for Villa. John McGinn, interesting enough, playing on the right hand side, the left-footed player cutting inside, and Jacob Ramsey going out onto the left hand side doing the same.
Throw in taken by Young. He receives it straight back from Jack Harrison, sends it down the line, right hand side. McNeil goes in pursuit of it, but Pau Torres gets there comfortably ahead of him and is able to clear the ball up towards the halfway line. Good burst of energy by Youri Tielemans. Plays it off to John McGinn inside the centre circle. Swerves in a wide arc and plays a low pass to Aaron Ramsey on the left-hand side. You can hear in the background warm applause from Villa fans. They like how sharp this looks as Morgan Rogers plays it towards the penalty area. McGinn's made up good ground. He's inside the box. One-on-one up against Mikalenko. Stumbles McGinn. That's taken away some of the momentum. It's back with Lamar Bogard. His attempted pass does find McGinn on the right-hand side, and now Tielemans more centrally located again. Good early pressure here from Unai Emery's team as Everton try to keep them outside the penalty area.
John McGinn's floated, isn't he? He's been allowed to roam pretty much infield when Villa are in possession, but out of possession he comes over to this right-hand side.
Here is Watkins. Heavy touch on the edge of the penalty area, gives it away. A few groans from the Aston Villa fans, but immediately Youri Tielemans wins it back again.
You can almost feel the nervousness amongst these Everton players. They tried to press high, but Villa have broken the press a couple of times. It's really, really important for Sean Dyche and Everton to stay in this game for as long as they can. They're really fragile at the moment.
Yeah, we saw just how fragile Everton are. They had a 2-goal lead, 86th minute at home against Bournemouth before the international break, and somehow conspired to lose that match. The latest that a team in the Premier League era has ever given away a 2-goal lead to lose the match that late in the game. They need surely to respond with a better performance today, but Villa look sharp in these early stages as Luca Digne finds Ramsey. Low ball to Tielemans in the penalty area, and it's blocked out away for a corner. First corner of the game for Aston Villa at the Holt End, 0-0.
Great run by Tielemans, just breaks through that Everton midfield back line. We see it all the time to perfection, just gets put in, and this is going to be the story of the game. We look at this so far, Aston Villa dominating possession, looking for the holes in this Everton back line, who already are dropping deep.
Corner's going to be taken by the Belgian Yuri Tielemans. Ramsey is hovering on the edge of the box. Lamar Bogard too, who only made his Premier League debut against Leicester last time out, swung into the edge of the 6-yard box, headed out to the edge. Ramsey has a look to see what the best option is, chooses a short pass along the ground to Rodgers. He scoops it into the penalty area, and it sails over the head of Calvert-Lewin, who didn't get a touch, so that will be a goal kick to Everton away to our right hand side. So the teams: Emi Martinez in goals for Villa, Lamar Bogard at right back, Konza with Pau Torres in the middle, Luca Digne's the left back, in midfield McGinn right hand side, Amadou Onana against his old team alongside Yuri Tielemans in the middle. It's Tielemans' 50th appearance for Aston Villa. Jacob Ramsey on the left hand side with Morgan Rodgers pushing forward in support of Ollie Watkins, who's still looking for his first goal of the new campaign. For Everton, Jordan Pickford in goal. Back four of Ashley Young, James Tarkowski, Michael Keane and Vitaly Mykolenko, with Tim Irabunam, who's up against his old team, with Idrissa Gueye, who's up against his old team in the middle. Then it's a three of Harrison, McNeil and Ndiaye in support of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who did score against Villa when Everton won here in the League Cup last season. 0-0 for now.
They scored in the League Cup, but it's a long, long time since Everton last scored here in the league. You have to go all the way back to 2016. Romelu Lukaku was the last Everton player to score in the Premier League here at Villa Park. They haven't got a good record here, Everton, and they'll certainly be looking to change that today.
Pau Torres, midway inside his own half, rolls it back to Emi Martinez. Now Konza will bring the ball up towards the halfway line. Short pass to McGinn, first time lay off to Yuri Tielemans. Everton were trying to show positive body language as McGinn picks it up on the right wing, plays it quickly infield to Rodgers, whose first touch lets him down. Pass was ever so slightly behind him, he just had to check his run. Onana's been able to win back possession for Aston Villa, and he feeds it to the left into Luca Digne. Here's the cross, picking out Ollie Watkins, bit of a ball juggle, then he tees it up to McGinn, who shoots left-footed, and it's deflected out for a corner. Villa with all the early pressure, 7.5 minutes played, 0-0.
Looks really good on the edge of the box, Ollie Watkins. He gets far too much time and space, almost doing a couple of keepy-ups before he plays it out to McGinn to this right-hand side, and you know what John McGinn's going to do. Cuts in on his left foot, gets the shot away. Jordan Pickford had gone the wrong way, gets a deflection, and thankfully for Everton goes wide of the near post.
Corner this time is on the right hand side. Luca Digne's come across to take it. This will be an in-swinger trying to get it in on top of Jordan Pickford. Everton have brought all 11 players virtually back inside the 6-yard box to defend this. They are crowding that area as the delivery comes in. Back post, downward header from Konza, saved on the goal line. And Everton haven't been able to fully clear it away just yet. It comes to Ramsey, cuts a lovely ball for Konza inside the box, turns to the byline, sends in a left-footed cross which is deflected out for a third Aston Villa corner in 8 minutes. This is 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We're at Villa Park in the second city. It's Aston Villa 0, Everton 0.
Connor, it's a great corner by John McGinn, a really good in-swinging corner. Ollie Watkins and Hendrik Konza, they're both queuing up, they've both got a free header. The marking from Everton is absolutely awful, and to be fair to Konza, he should have scored. They should be one up now, Villa.
Ilman Ndiaye, Everton's summer signing for Marseille, was the player guarding that post, and he made the clearance. McGinn sends in this corner, headed by Mykolenko to the edge of the box. Luca Digne, brave against Idrissa Gueye. Bit of head tennis on the edge of the box until Morgan Rodgers gets a touch on his instep and drags the ball down onto the ground. He'll lay it off short to Lamar Bogard, who is a nephew of Winston Bogart, who famously played famously was on the staff at Chelsea. He didn't play very often for them, but became notorious in that regard, Winston Bogart. But that's his nephew down there, Lamar Bogart, playing in a second Premier League game in a row.
They're in for a long afternoon, and if they continue to do what they do, we're seeing them sit in a very, very low block, very sacrificial in possession, allowing Villa to have possession deep into their own half.
Rodgers into Watkins, Tarkowski behind him. Watkins has played it back to Rodgers, left-footed shot straight at Pickford. There was lovely fluidity to that move. The shot in the end was tame, but Sean Dyche is doing his nut down there. But Unai Emery's got to be so pleased the way his team have started this game, 0-0.
Well, it's just one-way traffic, isn't it? You just almost get a feeling it's when, not if, Villa score. The way that they've started, Everton have been so deep, like I've said. Villa are creating chances, they're getting corners, and every time they get the ball, they look dangerous.
Ndiaye is relieved of possession by McGinn. Ndiaye, when he was on the ground, kicked out his leg and caught the Scotsman, and that's going to be a free kick to Villa. They take it quickly. Onana takes it from the wrong position, so today's referee Craig Pawson will send it back to the right back position for Villa, and that's where the free kick will be taken from. 10 minutes played. Earlier on today, plenty big stories up and down the land. In the Premier League, Erling Haaland scored twice for Manchester City. 9 goals in 4 games now for him this new Premier League campaign. City beat Brentford. They've continued their 100% start in the Premier League this season. The retention, they hope, of their crowd as Tielemans plays a lovely ball out to Luca Digne on the left-hand side. He's got Ramsey ahead of him, 5 yards from the byline, pulls it back to Tielemans once again. Villa just whizzing the ball around. It's all 1-2 touch football, and they're creating a bit of a whir to Everton as their attempts to defend. Digne's left-footed delivery headed by Tarkowski, edge of his 6-yard box, but when they do get a touch, Everton, they don't retain possession, and time again it's back to Villa.
Villa winning the ball back far too easy, aren't they? They're having such a lion's share of possession. It's so comfortable. Everton defending very, very narrowly. Villa are finding so much space down the channels.
Ramsey tries to play a 1-2 at Tielemans, can't get onto the second leg of it, and Ashley Young clears away right-footed up to Pau Torres, who immediately recaptures possession for Aston Villa. 0-0.
Again, Connor, the point that you make, Everton win the ball back, and within one pass, Villa have got it back. Everton have been sloppy in possession, having to work very, very hard off the ball, and when they do win the ball back, they're very careless with it.
Manchester United got a much needed win for Eric Ten Hag at Southampton earlier on. Southampton, who remain without a point. Everton, the only team who are in that regard as well. Here's a low ball into the middle. Watkins seemed to be off balance as he struck it, and it goes over the crossbar. That was a big chance, one you would expect Ollie Watkins to take, and Everton, 12 minutes in, are extremely lucky to still be at 0-0.
It's a really good 1-2 down the left-hand side. Luca Digne, Jacob Ramsey team up together. The ball's there for Luca Digne, puts a great ball in across the floor. Ollie Watkins slides in, doesn't really get a connection, and it goes harmlessly wide. Should really hit the target there, Connor.
Morgan Rodgers was behind him, and he's screaming at Watkins that because Watkins had to slightly stretch for it, it would have gone through for Rodgers, who would have been in a more comfortable position, but they literally were queuing up to score.
It's just another chance already, isn't it? So early on in the infancy of this game, Villa have had so many chances, at will almost.
Ndiaye takes the ball down in midfield, gives it back to Tarkowski, low ball out in front of Ashley Young, who'll sprint over the halfway line, plays a pass now in front of Dwight McNeil, number 7 on his back. Immediately Pau Torres is out to crunch and to win the ball back again for Villa, and Everton struggles to hold on to possession. Continue here. Villa have it inside their own half. Watkins back to Pau Torres, good composure there. Warm applause again from the spectators as Tielemans finds McGinn on the right hand side, and look how quickly Villa are able to break here. Bogart deep into Everton territory already, gives it to the feet of Morgan Rodgers. Sean Dyche's, that gravelly voice is being pushed to its full extremities here as he tries to get his message to his players. He's not happy how this game has started at all.
Well, he lives every minute, doesn't he? And listen, having played for him, you know exactly what type of character is. I can see how he's set his team up today, and not tempting fate for anybody. You can just see this is the type of game that they pull a result out of nowhere. They start like this, they sit deep, and he could pull off the ultimate smash and grab, but he does. He lives every minute on the touchline. Calvert-Lewin
has clattered into Ezri Konsa here after a pass had been well played. Calvert-Lewin clearly trying to show that body language I mentioned, trying to show some assertiveness and a willingness to get into combat here, but Konsa had passed the ball away. It's a late arrival in to the England international, and the referee reaches for his pocket, and I think someone's going to get a yellow card here for protesting What's this about? Right, Indai gets the yellow. Now, he wasn't involved in that collision, so that's for something else. Must have been something he said to the referee. Lee Carsley is here today, by the way. Various England internationals for him to keep an eye on, and he's sitting beside an England international who's not played in a year. Tyrone Mings is having a word with the interim England coach.
Don't
forget about me.
I'm still here, boss.
Here's Watkins into the penalty area, pass just in front of him, goes through to Pickford, another who Lee Carsley will be keeping an eye on here.
I think Pickford's been excellent for England over the time. I mean, I've spoken on record many times. I think he gets criticised at club level times unfairly. You look at where Everton have finished, you look at the goals that they ship. He's a constantly good performer, and he's certainly never let his country down at any point deep into tournaments.
Jordan Pickford, who had 13 Premier League clean sheets last season, only David Raya had more than that, and Raya would have had a fraction of the number of shots to save that Pickford did over the course of the campaign.
I love clean sheets when they go in your favour, but when you don't have many clean sheets, it's a team effort. But when you've got loads of them, it's just the goalkeeper.
That's the voice of former England goalkeeper Paul Robinson watching this game of the 0 and 5 live, as McNeil does really well to win possession of his old teammate Onana there. Now chance to shoot, Dwight McNeil, and he scores for Everton. Low into the bottom right hand corner, he beats Emi Martinez. McNeil runs to celebrate with the Everton fans. Villa look to the referee and they hope that they're going to get a free kick here. McNeil won the ball off Amadou Onana in the build-up. The on-field referee's call from Craig Pawson was that it was a fair challenge and to play on. Villa will hope that this goes to a VAR review and that the goal might be struck out. But you mentioned it, Paul. How Sean Dyche is this to absorb that pressure and then bang to hit with a counter punch.
Well, they've been deep, they've suffered chances against them, they've had loads of corners against them. The first time they've gone into the Villa half and they trigger the press, Calvert-Lewin goes high, Dwight McNeil goes to press his old teammate Onana, as you say. Onana's in front of us here, still getting treatment. It doesn't look like a foul on the monitor. Really good work by McNeil. He's still got a lot of work to do. Two defenders approaching him. Konza's one of them. He just puts it to his left foot and he strikes it across Emi Martinez into the bottom left-hand corner. Fantastic finish. Really good high press from McNeil. He's won the ball back and he's tucked it right into the bottom corner. Everton have absorbed so much pressure, and that is the ultimate smash and grab within 15 minutes.
It had been all Aston Villa, but Everton with a moment of brilliance from Dwight McNeil. He took that extra touch to compose himself on the edge of the area. He didn't snatch at the shot. VAR are still looking at it, and now the decision comes through. They say no foul by Dwight McNeil. This goal stands.
Yeah, I think he's got to be stronger, Onana. It was just a physical challenge by Dwight McNeil. He saw the opportunity. It wasn't a good touch by Onana. Just came out of his feet. McNeil pounced on him very, very quickly. Won the ball, muscled him off the ball, but he still had so much work to do, Dwight McNeil. As I say, two defenders in front of him. Moved it onto his left foot and strikes it across Emi Martinez. A really, really good individual goal.
Amadou Onana, who scored just 4 minutes into his Villa debut last month against West Ham, but it's Everton who've scored early here today. Wow. And the Everton fans who've been in the doldrums in the early weeks of the campaign, they are the people making all the noise inside Villa Park. And what a crazy sport this is, Paul.
Oh, it's incredible. You look at Villa's record and you look at the record that Everton have got here. Villa are unbeaten in all 10 Premier League games since returning to the Premier League in 2019 against Everton. And Everton have got a really poor record here at Villa Park. But, as I say, Villa started really well. Everton have hit them on the break. There's a long time to go though, Connor, isn't there?
Aston Villa 0, Everton 1. Amadou Onana had to leave the field to come back on again after getting treatment in the aftermath of that goal. How do Villa respond to this? Bogart goes long. Interception by Michael Keane. Left-footed clearance by him up towards Calvert-Lewin. Gets a touch ahead of Konza. Konza's got to step on the gas. Beats Calvert-Lewin to the ball on the edge of his own penalty area and rolls it back to Emi Martinez.
It was funny listening to Sean Dyche this week in his pre-match interviews, talking about celebrating goals and asking why he doesn't celebrate goals. He says, because I don't celebrate until it's over. And I think he was talking about last week, before the international break against Bournemouth. And I think certainly if you score this early on in a game, there's a long way to go, especially when your team's been absorbing the pressure it has.
Another foul on Amadou Onana. This time a yellow card is shown to Tim Irabunum. Irabunum, who left Villa in the summer to go to Goodison. And for the second time in about 90 seconds, Amadou Onana is down on the deck. It looks like he's going to need some treatment again here.
Yeah, Irabunum does catch him this time. I think the Dwight McNeil one that led to the goal, there wasn't much contact, but he really does get caught there, Onana.
Well, Dwight McNeil, that's his first Premier League goal of the season. He scored in the League Cup win over Doncaster at Goodison 2.5 weeks ago. Everton lead away from home at Villa Park. It's a free kick to Aston Villa midway into Everton territory. Sean Dyche still screaming the instructions down there. McNeil raises both hands as a signal. Left-footed delivery, good delivery into the box, but headed away by Michael Keane. Tielemans handles it on the edge of the area as he tries to gain control, and that's going to be a free kick to Everton just outside their box.
You wouldn't want to be Steve Stone and Ian Wone right now, would you? Those of you listening to this who quite often watch the Everton dugout, you see his two assistants come up, they get as much of a shouting at as his players do. Very, very animated down there on the Everton bench.
Unai Emery, I wouldn't call him animated, but he's not happy. He's standing, hands in the pockets, and sort of scowling at his players. Long clearance by Pickford, down the left wing, and Ndiaye scampers after it. Gets to the ball ahead of Bogard. Now Ndiaye tries to dribble into the box. Bogard with a good challenge, and out it goes. Now Bogard said last touch came off the Everton player. Referee Craig Paulson, I think he wasn't sure he was behind that, but he's just gone with throw into the attacking side. It's a throw into Everton. But to be fair, Bogard doesn't make much of a song and dance about it in the aftermath. McNeil gives up possession. Strong challenge comes in, and Morgan Rogers from Michael Keane. Feisty, competitive nature to this game, with Everton leading, 20 minutes on the clock, and Aston Villa, who had 3 huge chances earlier on, didn't score, and suddenly now found themselves behind.
You just wonder what that goal will actually do for Everton, the confidence that it will breed into this side. It may be given that little bit of belief, or will it have the opposite effect, or will they sit deeper and allow Villa a lot more possession?
Everton songs filling the sky and the air at Villa Park. That's the Evertonian singing. Singing the blues. This is Pau Torres on the halfway line. 5 live at BBC Sounds at Villa Park in the Premier League. This is the 5:30 game. 6:06 to come with Robbie and Chris at the end of the live football here. As John McGinn rolls the ball back to Bogard, bang on the halfway line. Fluorescent coloured boots, he'll roll it into Ezri Konsa. Konsa, whose first ever Premier League goal came against Everton 4 years ago. Here is Ramsey, or it would have been on the edge of the area, but Ashley Young swept across to make an interception. Onana with work to do. Just outside the penalty area, two opponents around him. Ndiaye is able to win possession briefly for Everton. He's got a bit of hustle about him, Ndiaye, and he draws the foul from Lamar Bogard. Free kick to Everton, left full-back position for them. Working
very hard, Everton out of possession. Again, since the goal's gone in, it has given that little bit of a lift. Out of possession now, they seem to be pressing with an extra 10%. Good there from Ndiaye, and that's what he does. He gives them that little bit of energy in midfield in behind Calvert-Lewin. He works very, very hard up and down.
Aston Villa 0, Everton 1. Dwight McNeil's goal after 16 minutes. Elsewhere today, Nottingham Forest won away at Anfield for the first time in 55 years. Arne Slot's honeymoon period has come to an abrupt end as Everton stray offside here on the edge of the Villa penalty area. Now there is a free kick to the home side. Brighton and Ipswich became the first scoreless draw in the Premier League this season. Leicester went 2-0 up at Palace, then 2 goals from Jean-Philippe Mateta saw Crystal Palace clutch a draw. Both of those teams still awaiting their first Premier League win of the new campaign. Konsa, right-footed, directs, tries to send one over the top. Watkins in pursuit, but Tarkowski matched him all the way, and the ball bounces up into the arms of Pickford.
Reads the game very, very well, Jordan Pickford. I know he's worked very hard on himself, worked hard on his game, but that's one thing that he's always been very good at, his depth perception, his reading of the through ball.
Problem now for Vitaly Mykolenko, the Ukrainian left-back for Everton, who's gone down. A player who missed much of the back end of last season with injury. Mykolenko, certainly Sean Dyche won't want to add to the growing number of defenders who are unavailable at the moment. Seamus Coleman, who went off injured for Ireland in Dublin last weekend against England. Jared Branthwaite's yet to play this season. Nathan Patterson is yet to play this season. And now this is concerning for Sean Dyche as Michaelenko receives treatment just outside his own penalty area. This break of play allows both coaches to drag the players over and give them a little bit of a pep talk down there. Aston Villa trailing it on to Everton thanks to Dwight McNeil's goal. While we've got a break in play, Paul, you won't have escaped listeners that Edison, the Manchester City goalkeeper, provided another assist today. There's now only one goalkeeper who's had more assists in the Premier League, a certain Paul Robinson Esquire.
Yeah, he's getting closer to me, isn't he? I think he needs to move to Saudi soon. No, listen, his distribution's incredible, isn't it? I mean, you look at him now, you look at the way that Pep Guardiola plays, the way that Manchester City play, the role of a goalkeeper's changed. And I mean, it's not so much long distance balls from a goalkeeper, but actually they play in and out, they play around the back. But he's got the ability to play that ball over the top that we see. You can visualise it, the ball to Haaland. So many times do we see that ball over the top, and it's just a straight run. And his ability with his feet is second to none, Edison. I fear for my record, Connor.
The clock is ticking. Okay, Michaelenko, it would appear, will not be able to continue here. Everton are preparing James Garner as a potential replacement here. So having had a very good start getting that opening goal, Sean Dyche now forced into a change. Everton for the moment temporarily playing with 10 men. They're on the attack. Jack Harrison on the right wing, pursued by Ramsey. Comes in field of Luca Digne and then earns a free kick for his team. Good work from Harrison. And a chance for Everton to bring up the big men from the back and apply a bit of pressure to an Aston Villa team who were assuming, I imagine, that this was going to be a bit more straightforward today, but Everton have shown some fight here. They've got their noses in front, and we've got a game on our hands at Villa Park.
And these moments are going to be so key for Everton. You would suspect that they're not going to venture into the Villa half that often, but when they do, like Jack Harrison just did then, won his team a free kick, in a really dangerous area, and with Dwight McNeil on the pitch, the delivery and the centre halves that they've got, they're going to fill the box and take the opportunity. The change, Garner's come on, Ashley Young's come over to left back, and it looks like James Garner's going to drop in at right back.
Everton scored 19 Premier League goals last season from set pieces. As Paul illustrates, these are very important moments for them as it's played in by McNeil. Calvert-Lewin makes it 2! That's what Everton do! 2 attempts a goal, 2 goals for Sean Dyche's team. What a delivery from Dwight McNeil. And Calvert-Lewin was immediately running over to his colleague to praise the quality of that assist. This big week for Villa, where they're about to go into the Champions League for the first time on Tuesday. This is starting so badly for them. Aston Villa 0, Everton 2.
Such a simple free kick, but I think there's going to be a VAR check for offside. Looking at the monitor now, Connor, it's whether Calvert-Lewin's left shoulder is offside when the ball's kicked. Checking goal, possible offside. It's going to be very, very tight. It was a fantastic delivery by Dwight McNeil from the right hand side, left foot in swinging. Such a simple delivery, but a really good, effective delivery onto the head of Calvert-Lewin, unmarked, 6 yards out. The question is, has he stayed onside? It looks to the naked eye that he might just have stayed onside.
It looks like Yuri Tielemans is playing him on. That is the angle we can see, but it is tight enough, and they may well draw the lines here to see if Calvert-Lewin's goal does stand. So 27 minutes on the clock, and once again Everton await a video assistant referee review to see if a goal stands. But Calvert-Lewin, who leapt like a salmon to head that ball into the back of net, that's Calvert-Lewin at his best.
Such a simple set play. We complicate the set plays with the intricacy, with the different variations.
The goal's got to stand. Sorry for interrupting. The goal has got to stand. It's green lines. They look to see if there was anything else, any other foul in the build-up, but he was onside, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And Everton, I mean, we've had some surprising results today. Who would have thought Forest would win at Anfield? Who would have thought Everton would go 2-0 up away at Villa Park? Now, can they keep this lead, unlike what happened last time?
There you go, don't go anywhere. This one definitely has not finished. I mean, Everton have been brilliant the way that they've absorbed the pressure. Literally, they've ventured into the Villa half twice and got themselves 2 goals. But that's how they've been set up, and that's called setting up in a system with a game plan and sticking to it.
Calvert-Lewin jumps athletically against Onana. Everton have got wind in their sails now. For the first time this season, a bit of momentum. Pau Torres up to the feet of Aaron Ramsey. Villa can't believe what's happening to them here. They started the game so well. They were outpassing Everton. They were creating chances. They should have scored. They'd have ball cleared off the line. But you've got to take your chances in the Premier League. And Aston Villa currently been made to pay for not doing that. Luca Digne rolls it back to Pau Torres. Villa on the halfway line, attacking the Holt end. They didn't win the toss. Maybe that was a sign today. Villa, who like to play in this direction in the second half of games, but Everton have switched them around. Here's Luca Digne. That's a good ball into the penalty area. Ramsey. Out comes Tarkowski. And he really shuffles him away from danger, pushes them out, and they continue to cling on to each other long after the ball had left them. Pau Torres' possession now for Villa, 15 yards outside the penalty area, gives it to Yuri Tielemans, across now into space on the right hand side for Bogard into Onana. They're trying to get their composure back here, Villa, but there's no doubt that Unai Emery's team have been rocked, and Ashley Young here wins the ball off John McGinn and Everton get it back.
They're rocked, they really are rocked, because listen, let's be honest, they don't really deserve on the balance of play to be 2 goals down the chances that they've created.
Here comes Ollie Watkins, edge of the penalty area, right-footed shot, and the sting was taken out of it. Idrissa Gueye did well, took the sting out of it, and Pickford was able to make a very comfortable save. Watkins took his time about pulling the trigger there, Paul.
Yeah, just looked to run across James Tarkowski, but the central defender Tarkowski did well, stood up, got half a block, and it ended up in Jordan Pickford's hands.
Garner plays it forward for Everton. 2-0 they lead here at Villa Park. It's given away. Tielemans up to Watkins. Strong challenge comes in from Tarkowski. A fair challenge though, says the referee. Watkins scowls at the referee as Everton clear it down the other end. McNeil in pursuit, and it's touched by Luca Digne. Back to Emi Martinez. It's all 100 miles an hour at the moment. 30 minutes on the clock. Aston Villa 0, Everton 2 on 5 Live.
And that's the first time Emi Martinez has touched the ball with his hands. Everton have had 2 shots on target, 2 goals, and we're 30 minutes in, and it shows you the dominance that Villa have had in possession.
McGinn, nice ball to Rodgers, cuts back, left-footed straight at Pickford again. Is it going to be one of those days for Villa? They're creating chances, but they can't take them.
What a brilliant opportunity by Morgan Rodgers. Really well created, cuts the Everton central defence in half, chops back on his left foot, 13 yards out. He's got the whole goal to aim at. He just pulls his left foot shot straight into the legs of Jordan Pickford. Comfortable for the England goalkeeper.
More live football for you tomorrow. We've got the North London Derby on 5 Live at 2 o'clock. Wolves against Newcastle is at 4:30. You can listen to both of those games here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Busy day tomorrow with the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That's at 12. And of course it is the start of a Champions League week. You can listen to all 4 English teams in action over the course of Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. The way it is, this new Champions League format, Champions League games on all 3 days this coming week. Foul on Pau Torres. Villa continued to look a bit rattled. There's lots of complaints down there. And Calvert-Lewin, who back when the game was 0-0, came and had a clattering into Ezri Konsa that sort of changed the agenda a bit. It was a punch thrown by Everton, and ever since then they've had a lot of fight about them.
He's putting himself about today as Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Pickford's not afraid to go long. That's their get-out ball. Too often, in my opinion, do we see teams overplaying. Jordan Pickford goes long into Calvert-Lewin, even though he's not going to win the header. He leaves one on Torres. He lets him know that he's there. He's making a real nuisance of himself today, Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
2 goals in 27 minutes for Everton. Pau Torres' possession for Villa, 10 yards inside the opponent's half. Tielemans, low ball towards Rodgers, who waited for it to come to him, and Ilman Ndiaye wasn't having that. He nipped in and intercepted for Everton. Onana tries to win it back again. He commits a foul on Irabunan, and it's another free kick to Everton, another chance to send their players forward.
Yeah, a little bit of chance to take the time. You know what they're doing now. The message from Ian Wone, Sean Dyche beneath us. It's get to half time. 33 minutes into this game, you've got your 2-goal lead. Get to half time. They'll now take this game in stages. The first one is very, very important. Look, they're taking the time now. James Tarkowski's walked off the free kick, much to the disgust of the Villa fans, leaving it to Jordan Pickford, who's going to launch it deep into the Villa half. But their aim now for Everton is get to half time without conceding.
Everton's opening 3 Premier League games of the season. They didn't score a first half goal in any of them. Here away at Villa Park today, they've already scored twice as Pickford takes the free kick towards the edge of the penalty area. Ndiaye jumping with McGinn, cleared away by Bogard up towards Rodgers near the halfway line. Good control from him. It was an awkward one. Oh, and he rides the challenger Keane really well. Now, this needs to be a good pass. Rodgers infield towards Watkins. Cut out by Tarkowski. And then Irabunen plays it up to McNeil. Pressure on him from Tielemans. But McNeil's got determination. He spins away from that and keeps it moving out to Jack Harrison. Steps into the penalty area. Harrison to McNeil. No room for a shot. Tried to pull it back for Ndai. And Everton with the interception. And now it's their turn to come down the other end. And McGinn slaloms his way through two challenges. What a game this is turning into. Paul Robinson Phil on the charge, and a good challenge by Garner on Ramsey, puts the ball out of play on the far side.
Make sure you go the long way home. This is brilliant, isn't it? It's a compelling watch. What a fantastic game.
Aston Villa 0, Everton 2, 11 minutes of normal time to go until the break. Villa Park urging their team to get their act together here and get on the score sheet. Tielemans midway into Everton territory, gives it to Luca Digne on the left hand side. Back into Tielemans, back to Pau Torres. No high press this time from Everton. Ezri Konsa has it, slightly right of centre. Back to Pau Torres once again. Not much movement up ahead of him. Everton sitting deep and congesting that area on the periphery of their penalty area. Pau Torres once again. He's playing a succession of 1-2s here. Gives it, gets it back again. Rodgers turns on the edge of the area, flicks it on, but behind Watkins. Watkins had made a darting run into the penalty area. Rodgers had tried to play it to feed. Everton counter-attack down the other end. Calvert-Lewin does really well to hold it up. And now Dwight McNeil to Harrison. Harrison looks up to see if there's any options. Doesn't like what's ahead of him, so turns and rolls it back to the defence. Ashley Young has possession on the halfway line. Here's Paul Robinson.
The hunger and desire from Dominic Calvert-Lewin today is something that's really impressed me. Him and Dwight McNeil, okay, they've both got the goals and they've got the reason to be lifted up, but their performance, I've not seen that performance level this season.
Morgan Rodgers picks it up. Villa 0, Everton 2. Gives it to McGinn on the right hand side. Watkins took a tumble on the edge of the D. Again, he looks accusingly at the referee, but there's no decision in his favour there. Villa still have possession. Onana 20 yards outside the box. Lovely ball. Luca Digne into the penalty area, left hand side. He hangs it across. Watkins jumps and it's in. 2-1. 3 goals in 35 minutes in what's turning into a blockbuster of a game at Villa Park. Villa finally hit the target after a succession of chances in this first half, and that is Ollie Watkins' long-awaited first Premier League goal of the campaign. Aston Villa 1, Everton 2.
You can't say it hasn't been coming, and you can't say that they don't deserve it. It's a really well-worked move by Villa, recycling the ball across the midfield as they have done the whole first half. Comes out to the left-hand side. Luca Digne's in acres of space. Great first touch, which sets himself up for the cross. Lifts the ball into the box, and Michael Keane's got to do better. As a centre-half, he's got to be stronger. Ollie Watkins jumps up behind him, gets over the England centre-half. He's not strong enough. Watkins out-jumps him, heads it off Michael Keane into the back of the net, and Jordan Pickford's got a problem. Nothing the goalkeeper could do. He needs help from his centre-half there.
Luca Digne's ball floated to the back post. Keane, who appeared to be taller in his stance than Ollie Watkins, but Watkins was able to rise and hang in the air. And then I think as Michael Keane comes back down to earth, it's more really the landing of Pickford. It's not that Keane lands on top of him, it's how Pickford hits the deck, and he's receiving a bit of treatment there. But Ollie Watkins, what is his 350th Senior League appearance? Villa's Player of the Year last season, voted by both supporters and players. And having scored 19 times in the top flight last campaign, he gets his first Premier League goal of this season. The man who got that 90th minute winner for England at Euro 2024 against the Netherlands. His club tally up and running for the new campaign here.
Well, we came to the game today, didn't we? I think we both expected a pretty dominant Aston Villa and an Everton that were fragile and struggling. We've seen an Everton team grow in confidence, get a couple of goals, and Villa actually be a little bit shell-shocked. Unai Emery, if they had gone in 2-0 behind, he'd have been thinking, my team have not played badly. My team have actually played well. We've created a number of chances, and he'd be scratching his head as to how they've conceded 2. But with that Watkins goal, you can hear Villa Park now, the noise in here. They genuinely believe that they're back in this game.
Coming up this week, we'll have commentary at Aston Villa's first Champions League game against Young Boys on Tuesday. That is a 5:45 kickoff. Later that night at 8 p.m, AC Milan against Liverpool. Then on Wednesday, Manchester City against Inter Milan. That's an 8 o'clock game. And on Thursday, Atalanta against Arsenal, 8 o'clock start. Commentary of all those games available this week on 5 Live. Some really tasty encounters there as well. I know there's this sort of new format in the Champions League, but it's certainly served up some very spicy trips for the English clubs.
We've got some great trips, haven't we? You look at the draw for the English clubs, especially Aston Villa venturing back into the Champions League. You know, Bayern Munich here in a few weeks. Great tie.
Pickford's okay, still stretching his leg away to our right, but play has resumed. Aston Villa 1, Everton 2. Everton, who had a 2-goal lead in their most recent Premier League game before the international break and still ended up losing it. Now they'll be breaking out in a rash here, worried about things. Calvert-Lewin's done well to flick the ball back to Ndiaye. Left wing position for Everton. McGinn tracking back, doubles up with Bogard, and the ball goes out of play for an Everton throw. It's a game that's had a very fast tempo to it. There's been no lull in the match here. There's Ashley Young, who started the game at right back, now playing at left back after the injury to Michaelenko, comes forward to take the throw in. This is level with the edge of the penalty area. That Everton attack, playing from right to left as we look down in a change strip. The white shirts, grey shorts, white socks. Young takes the throw into Ndiaye, flicks it off first time to Dwight McNeil. His left foot across is really dangerous, and Calvert-Lewin was nearly in again. Pau Torres held his ground, and boy did he need to. Everton come close to a third.
Making himself a real nuisance this afternoon, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, leading the line really well. Dwight McNeil in behind him, supplying him.
Rodgers from Villa tries to hold off Irabuda. Rodgers into the penalty area. Keane challenges him. Now Onana comes forward, urged to shoot by the Holt end. Villa hold on to the ball on the edge of the box. McGinn spots Luca Digne wide in the left. That looked like a handball as he took it down. Play on for the moment. Ramsey swivels away from the penalty area, round in a wide arc, plays a pass back to Yuri Tielemans. Everton have got 11 men back behind the ball again, which is exactly how Sean Dyche likes it. Ramsey comes forward on the left, gives it to Luca Digne once again. Villa holding on to possession, but they've got an Everton rearguard to try and break down. 5 minutes remaining of regular time in the first half. 5 Live and BBC Sounds at Villa Park this evening. 3 goals already. Aston Villa 1, Everton 2.
The key for Villa now is patience. They clearly had the better of the possession, the better of the chances, and you always felt when it was 0-0 it was going to be a case of when, not if, for Villa, and you still get that feeling now. I think rather than rushing things, making bad decisions in the final third, they've got a long way left in this game to keep doing what they have been doing, and this Everton defence do look fragile when they're pierced.
Villa do, and they've got John Duran on the bench as well, who's already scored a couple of Premier League goals as a substitute this season. He'll want to have a say. Free kick to Villa here, which is outside the penalty area, 10 yards or so outside the box, wide on the left-hand side. You wouldn't think it's a shooting position, but this is a good platform to send in a cross delivery. Pickford's taking no chances. He's erected a sort of makeshift one-man wall with Jack Harrison standing there just in case Tielemans fancied a crack at goal himself. But Everton, who've had this 2-goal lead, now nervous, worried, as Villa have got this threatening position for a free kick. 41.5 minutes on the clock at Villa Park. Tielemans floats it in. Keane gets up well for Everton. Harrison tries to flick it away but can't get any distance. It's back with Tielemans again. Left-hand side as Villa come forward. Whole host of players who got up for the free kick still loitering on the edge of the box. As Bogard with lots of backspin floats it in. Konza gets up, but jumping with Calvert-Lewin, he couldn't get a touch, and out it goes for a goal kick to Everton, away to our right-hand side. Aston Villa 1, Everton 2.
Good defending that time by Michael Keane. Stood his ground. He won the first header, and then he took his defence out, and he was really strong there. Held Enzri Konza away from goal, didn't allow him to get the header.
Here come Everton. Ndiaye over the halfway line. Someone's lost a boot. There's a boot in the middle of the centre circle as Ndiaye plays the ball out to the left wing for Everton, and McNeil, disappointing cross by him, straight towards Konza. Konza makes the interception, but Villa can't hold on to it as they clear it away. Onana the latest to try and win it back here. He can't hold on to the ball either. That malaise which hampered Everton in the early stages has seemed to have been infected by Aston Villa now. Young has it. Clever ball to the near touchline to Dwight McNeil. Under pressure from Bogard, he'll retreat back to Ashley Young once again. And then Young will put the ball out of play because... Why has he done that?
Pau Torres' boot.
Right. Okay. Well,
Ollie Watkins was walking around the middle of the pitch waving to see whose it was, and nobody was claiming it.
Has anyone lost a boot? Right, well, that's very sporting of Everton to put the ball out of play so Pau Torres can slide his boot back on. And then John McGinn just as sportingly returns possession to Everton. Right, the competitive stuff back underway. 2 minutes remaining in the first half, plus the stoppages. Good work by the newly shodden Pau Torres to win the ball away from McNeil. This is Konza inside his own half. It's been a strange first half for Villa. They've had some sparkling moments. They've scored a very good goal, but they've also conceded twice. The ball accidentally hits the referee, Craig Paulson, and that's going to be an uncontested drop ball for Villa inside Everton's half.
Been a very pleasant watch, hasn't it? I mean, I think we're both pleasantly surprised. Expected Villa to dominate it, maybe Everton to sit in a low block, not offer a lot, protect their goal more often than they have done. But actually the goals that Everton have got, it's made it a really, really good game.
Ollie Watkins' goal, by the way, his 60th in the Premier League for Aston Villa, which moves him joint second with Dwight York now in terms of Premier League goals for the club. Only Gabriel Agbonlahor has scored more than that. Ollie Watkins, such an important player for Aston Villa, and he showed up with a very important goal here today, but they still trail 2-1. Onana wins the ball from Calvert-Lewin in the midfield. So many turnovers of possession in this game. Half-time looming. McGinn back to Konza, bang on the centre circle, waves his left arm. He wants a bit of movement ahead of him. He's ushering Pau Torres to get into a more advanced position here. It's very congested. Midway inside the Everton half, they're holding a line on the edge of their box, and there's pretty much 20 outfield players in space of 10 yards. Rodgers breaks into the penalty area, but his control lets him down. Another good Villa build-up, but not a good shot to trouble Pickford.
It's a brilliant ball by Tielemans. Just lifts it in behind the Everton defence. James Tarkowski and Michael Keane have gone to sleep. Rodgers gets on the wrong side of Michael Keane. It's a really poor first touch.
So we've had the 3 goals here. We've had a couple of video assistant referee reviews. We've had physios on 3 or 4 times. No surprise, 7 minutes have been added on for stoppages here as Ndiaye breaks into the penalty area, tries to get it back on his right boot. Oh, he's done Bogart there, brilliant from Ndiaye, and then Konza rescues the situation for Villa, shoveling the ball out for a corner. Into those 7 minutes now, corner to Everton, who still lead by 2-1.
He's looked sharp, Ndiaye, both with and without the ball, with the high press, and when he was with the ball, first thought he's forward, wins his side another corner. They're very, very clever at that, Everton. They get themselves free kicks and corners in dangerous areas and set plays. You can hear the Villa fans booing now because Everton are taking the time. They're taking the time, setting this set piece up correctly.
Dwight McNeil, whose free kick set up the headed goal for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Can he repeat the trick here? Short run up from McNeil, floats it in. Tarkowski nudged Tielemans out of the way. He wasn't in to get a header anyway. I think if that had ended up as anything, it would have gone to a VAR review to see if Tielemans had been fouled. Everton still have possession. Ashley Young floats it back towards the edge of the penalty area again. Lovely control on the instep by McNeil, however it's wasted because he was in an offside position as he did so. Free kick to Aston Villa, who still trail 2-1 here.
You're very polite, Connor. Tarkowski absolutely barged him over, didn't he? There was no way that goal would have stood if he had got a header on it. I think that might have been brought back for a free kick.
I've become cautious with age, Paul. You never know these days. You never know what's going to be given and what isn't once it goes to the video assistant referee. This is Konza on the halfway line, out to John McGinn on the right hand side. Onana is pounced upon by Idrissa Gueye. That's a good battle between those two in the midfield today. Idrissa Gueye and Amadou Onana, 2 players who've each played for the 2 clubs involved here. Down goes Calvert-Lewin, followed in by Tielemans. Tielemans maybe trying to get a bit of revenge for being cleaned out a minute ago. And that is a free kick to Everton near the halfway line. They've got no urgency to take it. They just want to get in for the break with this 2-1 lead still intact. The goals, if you're joining us late, McNeil first for Everton, Calvert-Lewin doubling it, and then Ollie Watkins getting one back for Aston Villa. It's been a really good game to watch, and this game absolutely has got more goals in it, as Calvert-Lewin can't keep the ball in play and it goes out for a goal kick to Aston Villa.
You don't know which way it's actually going to go, do you? I mean, if you were watching the game, you'd think, look, Villa have dominated possession, they've had the best chances, but Everton, they are very, very workmanlike. They work hard, they've set the trap, they've won the ball. On the turnover possession, they've been good. Calvert-Lewin and Dwight McNeil have worked extremely hard and caused no end of problems this afternoon.
There's one change in the Aston Villa starting team today. Ramsey was preferred to Bailey. I wonder how Unai Emery feels that this first half has gone, because at times Villa have been very good. This is Bogart to McGinn on the right, up against Ashley Young. Low ball back into Onana, pressure from Idrissa Gueye. Bogart has it for Villa. Inexperienced at this level, Lamar Bogart, only his 2nd Premier League start. He'll give it back to Konza. Time and again now, Villa are being forced to retreat if they want to hold on to possession. Pau Torres will try and come forward here. into Yuri Tielemans. He tried to hit the direct ball. Watkins was running looking for it. It was cut out though ahead of him. Villa immediately regain. And we are almost midway through the 7 minutes that have been added on. Pau Torres with the cross for Villa from the left-hand side. Headed out of the penalty area by Ashley Young. Picked up by Ndai, who loves a dribble. And he's gone around Bogard effortlessly there. Now he's got Amadou Onana to face with. Cuts back at himself. Poor pass inside. Idrissa Gueye does well to stretch ahead of Tielemans. But Everton are going to lose the ball here as Bogard rolls it back to Emi Martinez. Under pressure from Calvert-Lewin. He clears high, right-footed up towards the halfway line. Keane gets there ahead of Rodgers, who barrels into him, and now Onana takes it down. There's a very competitive physical edge to this game at the moment, has been all the way through this first half. Pau Torres comes forward 15 yards into Everton territory, gives it low to the feet of Luca Digne on the left hand side. Harrison is back, doubling up with James Garner, who's had to adapt in as a right back ever since Mikalenko's got off. Remember, there's no Seamus Coleman today. There is no Nathan Patterson either. The short of fullbacks at the moment, Everton. Garner operating at right back, but being helped out by Harrison whenever he can today. Here's Pau Torres again, still in this left channel position that he's taken a lot during this first half. Luca Digne to Rodgers, back to Tielemans. Urged by a few Villa fans to have a shot there, but he pulls back at himself, gives it to Digne again. Low cross comes in, blocked by Harrison. Ball is still in play near the touchline. The two of them are battling for it. Down goes Harrison. Free kick to Everton, and a chance for Sean Dyche's side to clear their lines.
They're hanging on, Everton. You would think this is how they'd be hanging on for the end of the game. They're hanging on for the half-time whistle as though this was going to be the end of the game. They just want to get to half-time, and it looks like they might have done. Jack Harrison's won his team a really good free kick, deep in their own half, on level with the 18-yard box. But with Jordan Pickford's distribution, this is going to go a long way into the Villa half.
Everton haven't won away from home in the Premier League since December. But 2-1 they lead here, approaching half-time. We've got 2 minutes of the stoppages remaining. Pickford takes the free kick, left-footed, high up over the halfway line. Free header for Luca Digne. Rodgers beaten in the air by Irabunim. Calvert-Lewin nudges it to McNeil, who can't hold on to possession, and then Idrissa Gueye comes clattering into the back of Morgan. Rodgers wins it for Everton, but then good work by McGinn, wins it back for Villa. Rodgers rides the challenge of Idrissa Gueye, can't hold on to the ball. High turnover of possession continues. Down goes Ndai, foul by Rodgers. Free kick to Everton again inside their own half. Aston Villa 1, Everton 2.
Idrissa Gueye's work rate is incredible. Every time that his team lose the ball, he's always there protecting that back four. He's putting a real shift for his team in this first half, and Everton seem to be managing their way to the half-time whistle.
Enjoyable game for the neutral. Everton, whose supporters were singing loudly when they led by 2-0 around about the half-hour mark of this game. Now it's more of a clinging to a 2-1 lead as half-time is almost upon us. Martinez balls the ball out to Tielemans, who had needed very close attention there. There was a roar of man-on from several Villa fans looking on here. Beautiful evening in the second city. Perfect blue skies overhead. Konza, with a pitch and shade, brings the ball over the halfway line and rolls it to Bogard on the right-hand side. He cuts in, back to Onana, back to Bogard, no time to think. Has to shuffle it on to McGinn, who's floated a well-played pass infield, finding time and space for Tielemans here. This is Ramsey, 10 yards outside the penalty area that Villa attack. Back to Tielemans, out to the left wing. Luca Digne. They're trying to find a gap here, but Everton aren't leaving too many gaps open. Onana, back to Tielemans. Still well outside the penalty area, gives it to the right-hand side to Bogard. Bogard to John McGinn. Now can he deliver? Onto his left boot, low ball back to Onana. Still a good 10 yards outside the penalty area. Tielemans are always going to give it away here. Bogard stretches and they do lose possession, Villa, and they've sort of run out of ideas there as the referee blows the whistle for the end of a pulsating first half in which McNeil and Calvert-Lewin gave Everton a 2-goal lead. Ollie Watkins, with his first Premier League goal of the season, has halved that deficit, but Villa have got much work to do here in the second half. This is just the sort of response that Sean Dyche would have wanted while he stewed over the international break. Paul Robinson.
Well, it's been a cracking game, Connor, hasn't it? There's nothing more you can say, really. For a neutral watching this, it's been a really, really good game. You expected Everton to come sit deep. They haven't done. Not for the majority of the game. They've pressed high. Dwight McNeil, Calvert-Lewin have been excellent with the high press. They've caused Villa problems. And we're actually watching two teams trying to win the game. But actually we thought we might see Everton be a little bit more defensively robust, come here not to lose. But it really has been a compelling watch this first half.
It's the first time this season that Villa have been behind at half-time in a Premier League game. It's the first time this season Everton have been in front, and it really does feel like there is more drama to come. But a very entertaining first half at Villa Park. It's Aston Villa 1, Everton 2 for now.
Cracking game, and Everton have the lead at the break. Second half on the way then. Earlier in the Premier League at lunchtime, Manchester United won 3-0 at Southampton. At 3 o'clock, finished goalless between Brighton and Ipswich. Palace and Leicester drew 2-2 as well. Late penalty for Crystal Palace, rescuing a point for them. Danny Ings got a late equaliser for West Ham at Fulham. That finished 1-1. Nottingham Forest won at Anfield, so Liverpool's 100% start to the season is over. Callum Hudson-Odoi with the only goal as they won 1-0. Erling Haaland got both Manchester City goals as they came from a goal down to beat Brentford 2-1. We'll round up the day's football. We'll get in some of the day's other sports as well during halftime. Let's go to America, where it's been a tough start to the afternoon four balls for Europe in the Solheim Cup. Ian Carter.
It really has, Mark, because the Americans are ahead in the first three matches on the course. But Charlie Hull and Georgia Hall have just taken the lead on the second against Alison Corpuz and Lilia Vu. They're in the last match on the course. But Alison Lee and Megan Kang, Lee, who hold her second shot on the second for an eagle, well, they're one up on Anna Nordqvist and Madeline Sagström. Andrea Lee and Rose Zhang, two up after four holes against Lynn Grant and Celine Boutier. And two up also for Ali Ewing and Lexi Thompson, Carlotta Siganda and Emily Pedersen, their opponents, and they're on the third. And the cumulative effect of that, Mark, given that the Americans are leading 8-4 overall, is really putting a positive vibe through the spectators here. So it really is very, very tough for the Europeans.
Thank you very much, Ian. That will be on 5 Live later on at the end of 6:06. The cricket is on Sports Extra. Final of the Blast, a West Country derby, or as Henry Moran called it earlier, the cider decider between Somerset and Gloucestershire. Let's hear from a member of both teams. Gloucestershire batter Cameron Bancroft after the Somerset captain Lewis Gregory.
We know that we've got match winners throughout, and we bat deep, so we believe that we can beat anyone, and we've shown that over the last few years, how consistent we are, and ultimately in a big moment of the final, it's whoever rocks up on the day, and we've got the first job done now, and hopefully we can sit back, relax, and then get stuck in later.
Could be a pro of playing in the second game. Obviously, recently out there and understand the movements and sort of the flow of the game a little bit. So hopefully we can use that to our advantage and start really well. Whether we battle bowl. I don't think the gods could have planned for a more hostile finish to the Vitality Blast. So it's going to be exciting. We played two really tight games with them in the round sort of part of the season, and no doubt we're going to have to be at our best again. So looking forward to it.
Gloucestershire have won the toss and they have chosen to bowl, so you can listen to that on Sports Extra. Elsewhere today, there was an 8th St Ledger win for Aidan O'Brien. Jan Bruegel beating Illinois at Doncaster. In the Rugby Union, England's women beat New Zealand 24-12. Charles Leclerc is on pole for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix tomorrow. Max Verstappen is in 6th, Lando Norris in 16th. You can hear that on 5 Live at midday tomorrow. Hull's miserable season continues in Super League. They trail Salford at home 46 points to 0. There's still 20 minutes of the second half to go. And if you want to watch that, it's on BBC Two. The match that started at 6 o'clock is going up the way of Warrington, Huddersfield 0, Warrington 12. There's a tea time game in the Bundesliga this evening as well, actually, and Bayern are 4-0 up at Kiel at half-time, and Harry Kane has got 2 of those goals. We'll bring you some reaction to the day's Premier League football after Jill Mackenzie in the news.
The voice of the UK.
And the home of the Premier League.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
A man who was freed from prison on Tuesday under the government's early release scheme is alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman later that day. He's been recalled to jail. The Ministry of Justice says the release scheme was necessary because it had inherited a system on the brink of collapse. The funeral's been held in eastern Uganda for the Olympic athlete Rebecca Cheptegei, who was set on fire and killed by a former boyfriend. Local leaders proposed naming a sports stadium in her honour. Some mourners wore black T-shirts with slogans criticising violence against women. The government estimates that around 780,000 pensioners in England and Wales, who should be eligible for the winter fuel payment, will lose it because they're not expected to apply for benefits they're entitled to. Ministers say that given the dire state of public finances, it's right to target support to those who need it most. And a group of more than 40 state schools in England is banning children from using their phones during the school day, saying they affect mental health and learning. Around 35,000 pupils attend Ormiston Academy's trust schools.
Europe's elite club competition.
The Champions League.
Right here on BBC Radio 5 Live.
On Tuesday at 5:45.
It's Young Boys versus Aston Villa,
Followed by AC Milan against Liverpool.
We are underway in the San Siro.
On Wednesday, Manchester City host Inter.
and on Thursday, Arsenal travel to Atalanta.
And it's powered in. Here we go.
And watch highlights of every single match with Match of the Day, Wednesday night on BBC iPlayer.
The Champions League.
On 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sports.
With Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Back at Villa Park, shortly, where Everton lead by 2-1. Some of the highlights from the EFL today. Burnley won at Leeds at lunchtime by 1-0. Sunderland's 100% start to the season is over. They were beaten 3-2 at Wayne Rooney's Plymouth. Charlton have gone level with Wrexham on points at the top of League One after they won 1-0 at Shrewsbury. Also a big win for Huddersfield this afternoon, 4-0 at Bolton. So that's taken Huddersfield up to third. Notts County have gone top of League Two after coming from behind to win 4-2 at Bromley. Morecambe got their first goals and point of the season, coming from 3-1 down at home to Colchester to draw 3-3, despite playing the whole of the second half with just 10 men. Some Premier League reaction to come then. Manchester City beat Brentford 2-1, so they have continued their 100% start to the Premier League season. Erling Haaland got both of City's goals, and they'd actually fallen behind in this game very early on. After 22 seconds or something like that, Johan Wissa got Brentford's goal. So Pep Guardiola afterwards was full of praise for Thomas Frank.
I'm a big fan from Thomas Frank. It's one of the... I don't remember in 8-9 years have a team playing the way they played the first 30 minutes, I would say, 20-30 minutes. We were lucky that the deflection goal from Erling, the first, because they deserve the victory 0-1 or maybe 0-2 or maybe 0-3. They were much better. And after, of course, it's difficult, not even 1 minute concede a goal against that team. And we struggle a lot to read where you should press better. And then we were lucky to find the goals. And after that, in the second half, we were miles away better than the first half, and we deserved to win for more goals. For the chances we had, we were more control. But there's always with 2-1, the speed they have and the clear patterns that they do. And so we need that to feel how difficult is everything, how difficult is the Premier League and every single game, because hopefully we cannot accept it. I could not. You don't leave the situation like everybody saying, City is so strong, it's so good, it's so good. No, everything is so difficult. And we won a lot of Premier Leagues because we know in every single game the difficulty, and today was the real proof.
Southampton remained pointless after a 3-0 home defeat by Manchester United, but when the match was goalless, Cameron Archer had a penalty saved. Here's Russell Martin.
Any level when you don't respond to a setback like that, so we were brilliant up until that point. Then we missed the penalty and it changes the atmosphere a little bit and changes the momentum of the game. But if you defend set plays in that way, that's not about talent. That's not about Premier League talent. That's about not defending properly. So that's a mentality thing. So yeah, I'm sure people, will point at that being the Premier League and being punished and all that stuff. But we have to defend better. At whatever level we're at, we have to defend better. I feel that we are so close to being very, very good and very competitive, but we can't keep defending second phase set plays how we did today.
Crystal Palace came from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 at home with Leicester. Their equaliser was a stoppage time penalty. So here are the thoughts of Steve Cooper.
Feels like a defeat. There's no doubt about that. I won't lie to you. I know what you mean about sometimes a point away from home you can look back on and go, ended up being a good point, but it doesn't. That's not quite the overriding feeling in the initial moments after the game. Just because obviously we played so well first half, we were miles a better team, we looked like a team that were not just good for one goal but should have been more. and just looked like a serious proper team in that first half. And then obviously we have the perfect start to the second half, and then not so perfect initial moments after it, and then obviously then the atmosphere gets up and you're just trying to see the result out. So I mean, listen, we've got. I want to see a clear image of the offside. We haven't seen that yet, and every journalist I've spoke to so far has said that they've not seen it and have asked. So I think we need to contact the Premier League immediately and say, please show us that image, and if it is, no problem, but we haven't seen that yet. So I think that's a discussion point for you guys at the moment.
See everything on Match of the Day tonight, 10:20 on BBC One. Let's hear from Kieran McKenna next, after Ipswich got their second point of the season with a goalless draw at Brighton.
Yeah, it was a really hard-fought point, a really challenging game, no doubt about it, for many reasons. Level of the opponent first and foremost, but also with our situation, we're still bringing the group together. We got players coming into the team, making their Premier League debuts, still building relationships on the pitch, and after international break and players coming back from injury, we're coming into it. We knew it was going to be a big challenge, and when the game isn't all in your favour, as it wasn't for lots of the game today, showing the spirit, the fight, some really good organisation and bravery. From a defensive point of view, to get the clean sheet is massive, and every point that you get in the Premier League in our position is valuable, and it's a valuable one today.
What will it do for the belief in your group, and I suppose the sense of belonging in the Premier League, coming here and getting a point?
I don't think it's necessarily so much about that today, because look, I think we had that after the Fulham game where we played very well and had the better of the game, really, in my opinion. But today was different. Brighton showed their level. It was a more dominant team. Today again was more not about belief about belonging the level, but belief in each other, in the player in the dressing room who you're beside on your right and your left, that they're here. Whether it's a lone player like Calvin who played today, or it's a senior player, someone who's come in, someone who's been here since we were in League One, that we're going to become a team now, and everyone's going to work for each other. Everyone's going to fight for the team every week, and we're going to do the same in training. So I think that was the biggest thing today, was the feeling of trust that the players will have gained from that sort of performance in each other. And I said that's a really good foundation to build a team on.
Plenty for you to talk about on 6:06 this evening, and actually when 6:06 is on, there's another game that's taking place this evening, so they'll have updates of Bournemouth-Chelsea as well, which kicks off at 8 o'clock. Here's Robbie.
Yes, thanks, chappers. Obviously, I think the big game was Nottingham Forest winning at Anfield. What a win that is. Nottingham Forest up to 4. Obviously, Liverpool losing. City again. Erling Haaland, chappers. Wow, another 2 goals. Brighton with a point. Ipswich, again, getting a good result away from home. And then Everton right now on the TV, chappers. What a win that would be for Sean Dyche, under a little bit of pressure, but that 2-1 lead at half-time. Interesting second half ahead. And Wayne Rooney with his first win, 08085 909 693, chappers.
Thank you, Robbie. Yes, Wayne Rooney with his first win. Steve Bruce also getting his first win in his first match in charge of Blackpool. They beat Exeter 2-1. They needed a late goal there, so if you're a Blackpool fan, Chris and Robbie might want to hear from you. 08085 909 693. At the Solheim Cup, USA are up in 3 and Europe are up in 1 in those 4 balls. Remember, the US lead 8-4, so the concluding stages of the 4 balls will be on 5 Live at the end of 6:06. Remember, the Blast final is on Sports Extra. Gloucestershire winning the toss, and they have put Somerset in. And here on 5 Live, we want more of the same if the first half is anything to go by. Everton are 2-1 up at Villa. Let's rejoin Paul Robinson and Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Mark. Yes, that was a belter of an opening 45 minutes, and it would appear that Aston Villa are going to make a change here at the start of the second period. And in a game where so many players are coming up against former clubs today, it is Ross Barkley, one-time, long-time Evertonian, who is coming on in place of Amadou Onana, another former Everton player, into the Villa midfield. So Barkley will be with Tielemans in the engine room for Unai Emery's side, after a first half in which Everton were forced to make a change. Mikalenko went off injured. James Garner's been operating at full-back ever since. Both teams back out on the pitch here. 3 goals already, Paul Robinson. Here we go, strap in.
Well, it's been brilliant, hasn't it? It's been a compelling watch, and more of the same. You would expect both managers to be honestly reasonably pleased the way that the teams have played in the first half. Oh, we've got another one of those silly pitch invaders trying to get a picture with Martinez.
So we're just about to get underway here for the start to the second period. Ross Barkley, who did so well in a Luton Town team who, you know, although they were relegated, won a lot of friends I think last season. Barkley really reinvented his career. He comes on for a third Premier League substitute appearance since joining Aston Villa, but he's got long history with today's opponents. Came through the youth system at Goodison. What can Ross Barkley do here to try and get Villa back on level terms here against Everton? On the way for the second half on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Luca Digne, one of those players who's up against his own club here. Back to Emi Martinez. Martinez gives it short to Pau Torres in the midfield. Let's see who can establish some early firm ground in this second half. Villa playing from right to left as we look down, defending the whole end. Ezri Konsa gives it short to Pau Torres once again. Villa who've not been able to keep a clean sheet in any of their Premier League games so far this campaign. Twice already Martinez has been beaten here. Tielemans to Barkley, and he's done well there under pressure from Ndiaye. But it wasn't the best place to pass it to him. He was surrounded by opponents. Barkley showed very good strength to hold them off there and to hold on to possession inside the centre circle. Now he stands with a ball at his feet, weighs up the options. Ramsey here will come forward on the left-hand side for Villa. Everton fall back into that defensive formation that has served them well so far today. Luca Digne just stumbled as he tried to change direction there. That's an unfortunate slip, but it just takes a bit of the wind out of Villa's sails there. Throw into Everton.
Yeah, you can quite clearly see the way that Everton have set up out of possession. A back 4-5 in midfield, and it's going to be Ndiaye and McNeil are the two that are going to break and support Calvert-Lewin when they're in possession. It's going to be up to Villa to create the tempo in this game. Everton won't be disappointed with a slow
miscue by Pau Torres there. An unforced error goes nowhere near its intended target of Emi Martinez. Now an interesting bit of sportsmanship by the Argentinian goalkeeper, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a yellow card for this. I'll explain in a moment. Yellow card shown. Now let's just confirm that was definitely shown to Martinez, but I'm sure it was. So what he's done there was the back pass was intended to him, but it veered away and went out of play for a throw. Now he's running across to get it. Now instead of just, oh well, it's going out for a throw, I'll go back into goal, he continues to run to get it just so he can pick it up to ensure Everton can't take the quickly taken throw in. So for that, delaying a little bit like Declan Rice when he ended up getting a red card against Brighton 2 weeks ago, that's a yellow card for the World Cup winner.
Connor, that's why you're one of the best. I was really hoping you weren't coming to me for a description of that.
Ball over the top, Watkins in pursuit. Keane did well to get back, and he plays it out. It's going to go up on the quarter flag, but out on the throw inside of the quarter flag. Watkins beaten in the sprint by a strong Michael Keane there.
Well, that just shows you how quick they are on the turnover. It's one long ball over the top. Villa very direct, over the head of Keane, over the head of Watkins. Keane wins the race and puts it out for a corner.
Aston Villa 1, Everton 2. Villa have it in the midfield. Ross Barkley holds off Dwight McNeil. Gives the ball back to Ezri Konsa. McNeil and Calvert-Lewin scored for Everton the first half. Watkins scored for Villa. This is John McGinn, who played for Scotland in the international break. Back to Barkley. Back to Tielemans. Down the left wing to Luca Digne. This has been a regular pattern of attack for Aston Villa. Their goal came from a Digne cross on the left-hand side. No way to play it into the penalty area this time, though, and it's back to Pau Torres, who's deep inside Everton territory, and everyone apart from Emi Martinez is in the Everton half of the field at the moment. Lamar Bogard, the 20-year-old Dutchman, plays a 1-2 infield to Tielemans. Good pressure from McNeil, but Villa look to play through the Everton press. Torres to the edge of the penalty area. Now Luca Digne has it on the left-hand side. Into Ramsey. Good pressure by Garner to ensure that Ramsey doesn't get a touch of the ball there, Jacob Ramsey. Now Tielemans has it back with ball at his feet again. Tielemans. Barkley to his right. Ramsey to his left. Harrison comes across to get close. Back infield to Tielemans again. Barkley, 10 yards outside the penalty area, low to the feet of Watkins. First time back to Bogard. Dribbles his way towards the box. Chance. Rogers. Shot save. Pickford. Ramsey. Watkins. Somehow it doesn't go in. Jacob Ramsey had an empty goal to aim for, and I think one of the defenders got a body in the way. So close to an equaliser.
Tell you why that didn't go in. James Garner was so brave. What a fantastic block by James Garner. First of all, it was a brilliant save by Jordan Pickford. One-on-one hit with pace, low down to his right, palms it out, and then you think Rodgers is just going to put it into an empty net. But there's James Garner, puts his body on the line,
Great turn, Watkins, but Keane recovers well. Watkins, who flicked it into his own path and tried to swivel and shoot. Keane was able to lunge to his left-hand side and prod the ball away, and then Ndai is able to help it up to Calvert-Lewin. Left-hand side of the pitch is Everton going forward. He goes down, challenged from behind by Konza. That's going to be a free kick to Everton, some 10 yards inside the Villa half. Let's quickly give you a rundown of the teams. Emi Martinez in goal for Aston Villa. Bogart, Konza, Torres and Digne the back four. In midfield, Barkley with Tielemans in the middle, Ramsey on one side, McGinn on the other, Morgan Rogers just behind Ollie Watkins, who has scored for Villa today. The Everton team, Pickford in goal. Back four, Ashley Young, James Tarkowski, Michael Keane and James Garner, with Irabunum and Gay in the middle, Harrison, McNeil and Ndai behind Calvert-Lewin, who has scored for Everton. Free kick taken by McNeil on the far side of the pitch from us. Lands inside the penalty area. Tarkowski's powerful header. Harrison tried to control it, didn't have room for that. Irabunum here on the edge of the box won't get a chance to shoot because the referee has blown the whistle for a foul on Luca Digne. Free kick to Aston Villa, which Martinez takes quickly in this game that refuses to pause. Long ball, McGinn is onto it. Out comes Pickford, way outside his penalty area. Heads the ball away. John McGinn would have been offside anyway.
Well, that's what I said in the first half about Jordan Pickford. His depth perception and reading of the game is incredible. That was Emi Martinez turning defence into attack. One straight ball over the top for John McGinn. It looked for all the world that John McGinn was going to get there first. Jordan Pickford wasn't to know he was offside, and looking at the replay it would have been very, very close. Pickford times his run and he waits and he picks the bounce, he picks the through ball and heads it away to safety. Really good reading of the game.
Aston Villa 1, Everton 2. 5 live on BBC Sounds as Barkley picks out a pass to John McGinn, still inside his own half. Still the perfect blue skies overhead. There hasn't been a single cloud directly above us all day. Konza facing up to Calvert-Lewin. He's just hovering in front of him. He's not lunging in towards him, but he's just standing there to say, you ain't getting past me. As Bogart gives it back to Konza once again. And this pressure on the Villa defence keeps them on the edge of their own penalty area for now. Pau Torres on the left-hand side shuffles it on to Luca Digne, back in field to Tielemans. Everton are working hard out of possession.
That has been a key to their first half performance. They knew they weren't going to come here and dominate the possession, but what they've done by the way that they got the 2 goals is they press in the right areas and they've worked very sensibly. They've not worked without purpose. They've worked very sensible. Dwight McNeil and Calvert-Lewin have been the trigger point for that every time.
Irabunum tries to nip in and win the ball off Barkley, and he did get it. Barkley went down. Had Irabunum been able to hold on to possession there, it wouldn't have been a foul. Villa still in possession. Irabunum does make an interception here, and he's got Ndai available on the left-hand side, and back it goes to Ashley Young, operating at left back now. He sends one down that left wing. Calvert-Lewin sprinting after it, gets there ahead of Konza. He's having a storming game, Calvert-Lewin. Holds it up on the byline, looks up to see who's with him. Ndai emerges on the left wing. Even though he had several teammates in the centre there, it is a safety first policy for Everton. Ndai retreats back to Ashley Young and ultimately back to James Tarkowski inside the Everton half. Everton have a lead and they're going to do their damnedest to hold on to it.
And they're going to rely on that ball quite often in the second half when they do get the turnover of possession. The threat of Dominic Calvert-Lewin in behind this Villa back four.
Great touches. Calvert-Lewin is in here, one-on-one with Emi Martinez to give a 3-1 lead to Everton, and he somehow made a mess of that. He tried to go around the goalkeeper, and in doing so he allowed Konza to get back. That should have been a goal. There was no flag on the end of it. It would have counted. Calvert-Lewin one-on-one. We've just been praising his performance today. He's made a mess of that. How costly might that prove to be for Everton?
And the first person inside Villa Park who looked for an offside flag, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because he knows he should have put his team through. He's through one-on-one with Emi Martinez. He waits. He's not clinical. They always say, give strikers time. They're not good when they've got time. You give Emi Martinez credit. He's held his ground. Ezri Konza gets back and makes a challenge from behind, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin has to score.
Here comes the corner, played in from the far side. Oh, that looked like a handball inside the penalty area. I think it was Barkley. It's come off a hand. They're all appealing. VAR will look in the background as Luca Digne comes away. Sean Dyche had 2 hands in the air. Now the protest will come, and the referee will know immediately if he allows this throw-in to be taken, which he does. Wow. So there was a hand raised. Obviously the ball must not have struck it.
Surely they must be looking at that, Connor, because you and I immediately both went handball. I know it's at the other end away from us, but Barkley did have his arm in the air.
Yeah, they can still come back, of course, but for the moment they were happy for play to continue. Craig Paulson is the referee. The video assistant today is David Coote, helped by Sean Massey-Ellis. James Tarkowski's come across to Craig Pawson to say, hello, what happened there? Handball in the penalty area, and Craig Pawson's pointing to his forehead, so he's clearly saying it wasn't a handball, it was a header. Anyway, while they sort out all of that, let's nip to see the latest from the Solheim Cup golf. Here is Ian Carter.
The initiative still with the United States. They lead 8-4 from the morning foursomes, and in the early stages of the afternoon four balls, they're up in the first three matches. The bottom match, Charlie Hull and Georgia Hall against Alison Corpus and Lilia Vu, is all square after 3 holes. Connor, you'll be interested to know also that at the Irish Open, Rory McIlroy has taken a one-shot lead into tomorrow's final round.
Ooh, what a story that will be. Thanks very much to Ian. Coverage from the Solheim Cup coming up at 8:30 on 5 Live after 6:06, and you can watch the highlights on BBC 2 tonight, midnight, from Golf Solheim Cup from Virginia. This is Pickford on the edge of his own penalty area, rolling the ball to Michael Keane. Villa 1, Everton 2. We played 10 minutes of the second half. Pulsating game that isn't it? No rest points really at all. Ndai goes down. No free kick though. Throw into Villa. Right full back position for them and from Lamar Bogart. And we still haven't seen a replay of that handball incident, which felt there would be more of a fuss made about, but there you go.
James Tarkowski went over to the referee, and it seemed from a distance that the referee was gesturing towards his forehead. That would insinuate that it came off Ross Barkley's forehead, not his hand. But as you say, we haven't had a replay yet.
Barkley inside the centre circle, rolls it to Pau Torres on his left-hand side, back into Yuri Tielemans. Again, Everton working really hard in that central third. They don't want Villa to be on top in that zone of the pitch. Luca Digne has it on the left-hand side. Harrison back helping out James Garner. This is Yuri Tielemans into Ross Barkley. Barkley plays a nice ball to Rodgers just outside the D of the penalty area, tried to stamp it and drag back, and they didn't have the room to do that. And Tarkowski lobs one over the top, and scampering after it like a gazelle is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He gets into the penalty area, looks up to see who's with him, and the arrival of McNeil was too late. Tielemans makes the interception. Now Everton had pushed bodies forward here. They could be cut out. Watkins is sliding across this Michael Keane, who was the last line of defence in front of Pickford there. Counter-attacking by both teams in the blink of an eye at Villa Park.
Both exactly the same. Ball over the top, catches both back fours out. Michael Keane does really well to clear the ball to safety, but I think that's just a glimpse of what we got to come for the rest of this game. Both back fours very, very high. Both teams have players that can cause problems in behind.
So Pau Torres' possession in the midfield, gives it to Yuri Tielemans, gives it on to Ross Barkley. Now John McGinn on the right wing up against Ashley Young. Back to Barkley once again, 15 yards outside the box. Pass that was meant for Pau Torres, because Tielemans was in the way. Torres thought the Belgian was going to get it, and there's a mix-up between them there. Everton try and step out. Harrison's got to stretch it. Oh, he's teed up for Watkins. Mistake is punished. Harley Watkins gets his second goal of the game. Gift wrapped by Jack Harrison. And for Everton, it's happening again. Their 2-goal lead is obliterated. It's 2-2 at Villa Park. Sean Dyche can't believe it's happened 2 games in a row. 2-0 up, back to 2-2.
Again, it's a ball over the top. Ollie Watkins possesses that threat, but there was no danger. Jack Harrison gets back, he gets goal side, then he makes the wrong decision. I think he's just stretching, and inadvertently he just puts it straight into the path of Ollie Watkins. 12 yards from goal, he's got the simplest of tasks. Nobody around him, slots it past Jordan Pickford for his second of the afternoon. There was no danger. Jack Harrison's overstretched, put the ball straight into Watkins' path, who makes no mistake.
Well, he hadn't scored in the Premier League this season before today. Ollie Watkins' campaign is up and running now at Aston Villa after the shakiest of starts today. Remember, they were 2 goals down after 27 minutes. What a recovery this has been from Unai Emery's team, and there's plenty time to go and win it still. This big week for Villa, their first game in the Champions League format coming up in midweek. They want to go into that on a high, and if they can come from 2 goals down and win this match, that would be the perfect way to settle in. Now, there is an 8 o'clock kickoff this evening in the Premier League. Bournemouth against Chelsea on the south coast. The teams are out. Sahil Sahi can bring us the details. Sahil.
Yeah, 2 changes for Bournemouth, Connor, after their remarkable win over Everton. Goalkeeper Mark Travers comes in for Chelsea loanee Kepa, and captain Adam Smith, he's back in the 11. Enzo Maresca, the Chelsea manager, he also makes 2 alterations with Axel Disasi and Renato Vega. They replace Malo Gusto and Enzo Fernandez.
Thanks very much, Sahil. So that's the 8 o'clock kickoff this evening at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth against Chelsea. Earlier on today there were wins in the Premier League for Manchester United, for Nottingham Forest, who won at Anfield, and for Manchester City, for whom Erling Haaland got another 2 goals. He's now got 9 goals in his first 4 Premier League games. Harrison back helping out the defence, this time a firm header away. Controlled on the stomach of Idrissa Gueye on the edge of the box. Villa fans streaming for a penalty. Referee was close to it though, and he waves play on. Villa, who've got this back to 2-2, and we've got half an hour of normal time to go on 5 Live.
Yeah, loads of action down here on the Everton bench. Sean Dyche and Ian Woan calling 2 of his substitutes back. They're going to have to change something up, because at the moment it really is all one-way traffic. Villa have been very, very dominant, got the goal they deserved, and they're continuing to press.
Villa to the byline down the right-hand side of McGinn. Get a corner, and suddenly those Evertonians on the far side have been muted a little bit. They were full of gusto at 2-0 up. They've felt, that the team is putting in a great effort today, but it is not built on very firm foundations, this Evertonian confidence, and having for the second game in a row lost a 2-goal lead. Now the Everton fans are hoping this doesn't get worse. Cracking atmosphere inside Villa Park. You can't hear yourself think. Luca Digne's corner is an in-swinger, and it flashes through a few bodies, came off someone's shoulder. Ndiaye will stretch to prevent it going for another corner kick, but had the ball gone out first? Craig Pawson is delaying the restart. Maybe there. I said it came off his shoulder. I think they're just making sure that wasn't a handball there, as Everton prepared to make a double substitution down below us. So throw-in hasn't been taken yet. Craig Pawson is saying hang on. Luca Digne ready to take the throw. Maybe a suspicion of a foul. No, they have checked all of that. That's okay. Play can resume with a throw-in to Villa. Everton aren't ready to make the double change yet, but Mangala's going to be coming on, and so too Jake O'Brien. So it's a midfielder and a defender getting ready to come on for Sean Dyche. If you're just joining our coverage on 5 Live, Everton led early 2-0. Villa have fought back to make it 2-2 in what's a cracker. This is Tielemans. Swivels around a full 360 degrees to elude Dwight McNeil. Konsa plays it into space for Bogard on the right-hand side. Lamar Bogard can't find a teammate there. Calvert-Lewin is going to hound Ezri Konsa. Chases him all the way back. Ushers him. Forces him to make the pass to Martinez. Villa hold on to possession, but Calvert-Lewin is doing the work at 2 or 3 players up front of his own. Here's the chance for Villa. Rodgers into the penalty area, pulls it back for Watkins, who is so close to a hat-trick. He's cut it back unselfishly, Rodgers, but he's put it slightly, ever so slightly, too far in front of Watkins, who slid in like Gaza at Euro 96, but he couldn't get the touch.
Brilliant play by Aston Villa. Interchange on the edge of the box. John McGinn finds Rodgers, slides it into the path of Ollie Watkins, and it's just too far. I mean, you're looking at it, you're thinking, Rodgers, go on then, score, put your team 3-2 up. He doesn't, he opts to square it to Ollie Watkins. He misplaces the pass slightly, and Ollie Watkins gets up and starts having a go at his teammate. He's been very, very unselfish. He's slightly misplaced the pass, and Ollie Watkins just couldn't get there.
That is big chances missed in this second half at both ends. Calvert-Lewin, who was one-on-one with Martinez, and he dilly-dallied, and he took too long, and he made a mess of it. And now down the other end, wrong decision too for Morgan Rodgers, who, in his attempts to be unselfish, has conspired to mess up that opportunity for Aston Villa. So 2-2 it remains. So Oriol Mangala is on, the former Nottingham Forest player who's recently signed for Everton on a season's loan from Lyon. This is his Everton debut, and big tall Jake O'Brien comes on to be a third central defender for Everton here. He's with Michael Keane and James Tarkowski. None of this 4-4-2 flamboyance for Sean Dyche now. It's backs to the wall with 3 central defenders.
Changed to a back 5, hasn't he, out of possession, and 3 very, very big central defenders.
Ball over the top. O'Brien involved for the first time. Has he fouled Watkins, who went down on the edge of the area? Referee was following that, says no. O'Brien clears the ball away. He's claiming the last touch came off Morgan Rodgers. Officials disagree, though. They've given the throw in to Villa. Everything's been contested here.
That's the last thing Jake O'Brien wanted. The first thing that he did, his first involvement in the game, a foot race with Ollie Watkins. He actually does really well. He puts Watkins off and he holds him off, wins the ball back. But yeah, we are in for a cracking last 25 minutes or so.
So Idrissa Gueye went off, Harrison went off as well. 2-2 with 65 minutes on the clock at Villa Park. We're going to go for an update for the T20 Blast final at Edgbaston. Here is Melissa Story.
Well, it's the decider here between Gloucestershire and Somerset. Gloucestershire bowling first have just taken their first wicket, removing Will Smeed. The score 28 for 1 here, but Tom Kohler-Cadmore at the other end. He's 20 off 12 balls and looking like he wants a big score today. So after 3.1 overs, score here 28 for 1.
Thanks very much, Melissa. On File Life Sports Extra tomorrow, we'll have commentary of the third T20 match between England and Australia. That is from 2:15 tomorrow afternoon. This is the 5:30 Premier League game on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 2-2 at the moment between Aston Villa and Everton. Ross Barkley passes it to Tielemans, up to Jacob Ramsey, who is well challenged by Jake O'Brien on his Premier League debut for Everton, the new signing from Lyon. Villa get the ball back on the halfway line. Torres. Villa playing from right to left as we look down. Tielemans. Bogart Colesford on the right hand side. Much of Villa's focus though has been down the left. Luca Digne and Ramsey have seen a lot more of the ball than John McGinn has on the other flank, but this is Barkley cutting back after a little dummy that he was going to pass it to the right hand side. Irabunan pressures in. Now it does come to McGinn. Up against Ashley Young. McGinn skips away from him. Back to Ross Barkley once again. Everton being very careful not to expose themselves, not to leave a little gap that Villa could get into, and it's become a bit of a staring match at times when you've got Tielemans and Barkley just waiting to see if a gap emerges, and not very often does it. This is Rodgers. What a lovely backheel that is. Ramsey tried to take it with him, well stopped by Tarkowski. He just tried to drag it under his studs there, Morgan Rodgers, and Everton clear away, but they can't make it stick with Calvert-Lewin, and Villa will get a chance to come forward once again.
There's a long time left in this game for Everton to be defending as they are, with a back 5, 4 in front, very, very deep. The possession stats are incredible. I mean, Villa have got over 80% possession at the moment. When Everton do regain possession, all they've got is one out ball to Calvert-Lewin. It's literally defence against attack, and as I said, there's a long time left in this game for Everton to be playing this.
Ollie Watkins, who has been on the score sheet twice, he should really have a hat-trick. Aston Villa 2, Everton 2. As Bogart on the far side plays a short pass to John McGinn. Infield now to Yuri Tielemans. 12-13 yards outside the D of the penalty area. Barkley on his right shoulder. Ramsey on his left shoulder. Now further out to the left-hand side to Luca Digne. Tries to come infield. James Garner. There's a pass that's behind Rodgers. Irabunan was nearly in to nip it away, but he couldn't get a firm touch, and Villa hold on to possession. Indied out, working hard. But Barkley's able to hold him off. He's got great sort of low centre of gravity, Ross Barkley. He's hard to shove off possession. Here's Watkins, position wide on the right, tries to shoot, tight angle, deflects away off Ashley Young for an Aston Villa corner. We're exactly midway through the second half at Villa Park, 2-2.
Villa very, very dominant. They're trying to pick this Everton defence. It's Villa's time now. They have to be quick, they have to move the ball, and they have to not let Everton get set. It's all about the pace, how quickly they move the ball, because at the moment we're in the middle of a training exercise. It literally is a back 5 with 4 midfielders in front, trying to stop the overload and the opposition scoring.
You'll see the highlights of this match of the day. 10:30 tonight on BBC One. Gary Lineker with Shearer and Danny Murphy tonight, as Luca Digne prepares to take the corner far side of the pitch from us. The right as Villa come forward in their claret and blue. It's an in-swinger from Digne. Michael Keane's header at the front post doesn't fully clear. Ramsey, chance to shoot, but he gets underneath it and it sails over the crossbar, and it's a goal kick to Everton, and Ashley Young is slow to get back to his feet, having received a knock there.
Yeah, Ashley Young does well at the far post, and they're not in any hurry whatsoever at the moment. Everton, there's 2 balls there for Jordan Pickford to take his pick from, but they're taking their time, they're slowing the game down, while Aston Villa make their 2 substitutions.
6:06 coming up with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton at the end of this game on Villa Park. Your chance to get on the airwaves tonight, have your say about whatever your team has been up to this weekend. 08085 909 693, the number to get involved and get your voice on 5 Live this evening. There's much to talk about. We mentioned those 9 goals now in 4 games for Erling Haaland as Manchester City continue their 100% start. Arsenal in action tomorrow in the North London derby, a game you can listen to here on 5 Live. Manchester United got a much needed win for under pressure Erik ten Hag away at Southampton. Southampton still without a point. Nottingham Forest who won away at Anfield. First time in 55 years they'd won there. Arne Slot's honeymoon period has come to an abrupt end. Brighton and Ipswich, the first scoreless draw in the Premier League this season. Leicester went 2-0 up at Palace. 2 goals from Jean-Philippe Mateta, so Crystal Palace come back to clutch a draw. Neither of those teams has had a win in the Premier League this season. There was a late equaliser at Sellers, and even later one at Craven Cottage, where Danny Ings scored a 95th minute leveller for West Ham at Fulham. It was Ings' first Premier League goal since March. And as we heard from Sohail, Bournemouth will host Chelsea later on tonight. That kicks off in an hour's time. Back underway at Villa Park. Ashley Young, having received the treatment, is now waiting to be invited to come back on. Irabunum in the midfield, surely fouled by Barkley. Free kick to Everton. 2-2 it remains. Paul Robinson.
An attacking change there by Unai Emery, just looking at the way that they've lined up. It's almost Duran and Watkins as a 2, with McGinn and Morgan Rogers in behind. They've got a front 4. John Duran's stats are quite interesting actually. Scores 7 Premier League goals, having only started 3 games. So he certainly is an impact player off the bench, and that's what Unai Emery will be looking for.
Ian Maatsen has come on in place of Luca Digne on the left-hand side of the Villa defence. Maatsen, who's yet to start a game for Aston Villa. Here is Ndiaye, edge of the penalty area that Everton attack. Back to Garner, back out to the right-hand side, a switch for McNeil. Back to Garner again, steadies himself, sends in across. Tarkowski's header was goal-bound, but not much power on it. And a comfortable save for Martinez, who looks to launch it down the field and spark a counter-attack. And he looks for John Duran, who's come on for Aston Villa. Good first touch for the Colombian. McNeil prowls in upon Maatsen. Gets a touch ball, goes out of play for a throw into Villa. 2-2.
Yeah, rare venture into the Aston Villa half there from Everton. Ball went into the box. Michael Keane did okay, but then you see how quickly they retreat. Sean Dyson and Ian Wone down there shouting on instructions to his team as soon as they lose possession. The shape they take that we can see from here is very, very deep and defensive.
20 minutes to go. Villa very much going for it now with Watkins and Duran in attack and Rodgers just behind them. John McGinn on the right hand side, Maatsen on the left hand side, Barkley and Tielemans in the midfield. Everton have adapted accordingly, and they've got the 3 central defenders of O'Brien, Keane and Tarkowski. Maatsen, who played in the Champions League final for Dortmund back at the end of last season. Pau Torres on the halfway line for Villa. If you're just joining our coverage on 5 Live, Everton led 2-0 in the first half, but 2-2 now. 2 goals from Ollie Watkins has dragged Unai Emery's side back in this. Torres, that's a good ball. Maatsen's onto it, down the left wing, gets through the byline, cuts it back, hat-trick maybe, no! Watkins puts it wide. Left foot shot from Ollie Watkins. How close is that to his 3rd goal of the game?
That's the best move of the game, Connor. Really, really good ball by Torres. Finds Maatsen down this left-hand side. He's in acres of space, gets to the byline, cuts it back to Ollie Watkins, level with a penalty spot. Nobody around him, left-footed, completely misses the target.
There was lovely communication there between Maatsen and Torres, because Maatsen had played the ball back to Torres, and as soon as the ball had left the Dutchman's feet, he was running. Torres saw exactly what he was doing, and Everton were outfoxed there, and they are lucky not to be 3-2 down. Ndiaye has some cramp. Some teammates are trying to help him on as they wait for the physio to arrive. And while we've got a break in play, both coaches drag the players across and try to have a little impromptu team talk here. 17 minutes of normal time to play, 4 goals already. Still the deep sense that there could be more in this one as Ndiaye continues to receive treatment. Reminder of what's coming up tomorrow. We've got a couple of Premier League commentaries for you. It all starts 5 Live Sport with the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That's at 12 noon. The North London's derby kicks off at 2 o'clock. Correspondent John Murray will bring you that commentary. Tottenham against Arsenal live from the Tottenham Stadium. And then at 4:30 it is Wolverhampton Wanderers against Newcastle. Ndiaye leaves the field on the far side. Everton will temporarily be down to 10 men. He's been good today though, Ndiaye. He's worked hard.
Him and Dwight McNeil really impressed with the engine, their attitude, the application, trigger the press, both working hard forward and backwards for the team. They've put in a shift.
I think that he's not going to be on the pitch for long, Ndiaye, because Everton are preparing Jesper Lindstrom, their Danish signing on loan from Napoli over the summer. He's about to come on. So we'll see if it's for Ndai as Ashley Young brings the ball up to the halfway line, plays with the outside of the right boot. What a pass that is from Ashley Young to Dwight McNeil. Low ball in, Calvert-Lewin slides and he's a fraction away. Martinez was spreading his body well, hoping to create a barrier, but Calvert-Lewin inside the 6-yard box and stretching, wasn't able to get the final touch on a lovely flowing move, and that was almost a carbon copy of what Maatsen produced for Watkins in terms of the build-up down the other end.
Exactly what I was going to say, almost an absolute replica of what happened down the other end. Great ball in by Dwight McNeil, just out of Dominic Calvert-Lewin's reach, sliding in, couldn't get a contact.
Proper end-to-end at the moment. Lindstrom's put on a bib again, so maybe his entrance isn't as imminent as it appeared. Still over a quarter of an hour of normal time to play. Tielemans launches it to the near touchline to Maatsen. Maatsen, under pressure from Garner, will go back infield again and gives it to Yuri Tielemans once more. So Aston Villa 2, Everton 2. Let's get back for an update at Edgbaston with Henry Moran.
1-2 is the Somerset score in the final of this year's T20 Blast. Gloucestershire have never won this trophy. They're looking to try and stop Somerset from becoming the first side to win this tournament back to back. 41-2 the Somerset score. Asked to bat first. We're midway through the 6th over.
Thanks very much, Henry. 2-2 here at Villa Park. Just to remind everyone of the context of this, Everton, who have lost all their games so far this season, they've been 2-0 up against Bournemouth last time out and ended up losing 3-2. Today they've been 2-0 up away at Villa, but they've been dragged back to 2-2. And this one ain't over yet as Maatsen plays it infield towards John Duran, who's a good record of scoring off the bench so far this early campaign. Duran shoots from a mile out. Oh! Wow! A Colombian masterstroke from John Duran, and no goalkeeper in the world is saving that. It's spun into the top corner beyond the despairing Jordan Pickford. That is as sweet a strike as you will ever see, and all his teammates run to congratulate John Duran in the corner flag. Everton are having the worst deja vu ever. For a second game in a row, a 2-goal advantage has become a 3-2 deficit. Everton don't know what's hit them. A John Duran miracle goal has hit them.
Wow. What a finish. What a goal that is by John Duran. So many times do you watch your own team playing and you're thinking, go on then, just shoot, and then they pass it wide, then they recycle the ball. There was nothing else on John Duran's mind here. He's a good 30 yards from goal. He looks up, he smashes it with his left foot. It's got dip, it's got swerve, it's gone away from Jordan Pickford. It goes up and over the reach of the England goalkeeper. It's a fantastic strike. Goal of the weekend. Yeah. You will not see a better goal for a long time.
He's miles out and it is right to the top corner. And you know they've got these magnificent, huge, big screens here at Villa Park. Jordan Pickford turned around and watched it, and you know he's sort of pointing it to say, look, there's no way I'm getting near that. That is just a perfect strike from John Duran. 3 Premier League goals for him now, off the bench this season. He's a striker who was linked with a move in the summer. West Ham were very interested. Boy, how Villa are delighted to have kept John Duran. And what a huge part he could play in their Champions League campaign. Here he goes again, down the left wing, taking on Garner. Tarkowski comes across, plays it off Duran, out for a goal kick. Well, look, we're going to admire that goal, and there's going to be all sorts of superlatives. But I think we've got to talk about Everton. What is happening here? Twice in a row they have 2-goal leads, and they trail 3-2.
They've been outplayed today. Let's be honest, they've been outplayed. They've had the lesser of possession, smash and grab in the first half, went 2-0 up. But again, that's going to be the headlines surrounding Everton, isn't it? Twice in 2 games back to back after being 2-0 up and looking like they could potentially lose it. But wow, Connor, what a goal that is. That is incredible.
Yeah, set your recording devices for Match of the Day tonight. You're going to want to watch that. Here's Calvert-Lewin down the other end. It's the crossbar. Beat Emi Martinez. Shot from inside the box. Right-footed rasper. And the crossbar continues to wobble at the Holt end. Everton so close to drawing level again. This is some game, Paul Robinson.
He's got to score again, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's through on goal, 1-on-1. How many opportunities does he want? The first 1-on-1 he wastes it, he takes too much time. This time he looks up and he smashes it from 12 yards out. Doesn't hit the target, hits the crossbar. But twice, even though Everton have been outplayed, he's got 2 opportunities, 1-on-1. He should score.
I wonder, was he overcompensating there, having been not forceful enough with the first one? Has he been too forceful with the second?
Listen, you can't make excuses. If that's down the other end, if that's Watkins or Duran, you're looking at a goal.
Well, that's where the strikers get paid the big bucks. You've got to not fluff your lines, and Calvert-Lewin, despite scoring a fine header today, he has left two enormous chances out there, and Everton, quite frankly, do not create enough opportunities to be able to afford to miss two like that.
Well, setting up the way that they play, you set up away from home with a game plan. You're quite happy to let the opposition have possession. You know you're going to hit them on the break. You've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin who leads the line. You know he's going to run in behind. So part of your game plan, sit deep on the turnover of possession. We look for Dominic Calvert-Lewin over the top, which they've done twice today. He's been through twice one-on-one and fluffed his lines.
11 minutes to go. Villa on the attack down the right-hand side. 3-2 the lead against Everton. John McGinn sends it across. Watkins jumps and Pickford punches it away. He came diving off his goal line there, Jordan Pickford, with his short sleeves, and he punches the ball out for a throw-in. And this Villa pressure continues. Did it go out for a throw, a corner? Maybe it went out on the corner kick side. It's going to be a corner for Tielemans on the left-hand side. 3-2, proper stone-cold 5-goal thriller at Villa Park tonight. And there's still time for more. Everton about to make a double change, about to bring on two attackers. Is it too little too late? Tielemans prepares to take the corner. Short run up from the Belgian. Flicked it in low to the front post where Barkley tried, but he didn't have the angle, and out it goes for a goal kick to Everton. And now that break in play will allow the double change to be made. So Jesper Lindstrom is going to come on. He came on as a sub in the 4-0 defeat at Tottenham. That's been his only appearance in Everton colours before this. He will replace Tim Irabunim back at Villa Park, where he left in the summer. And Beto is going to come on in place of Indai. Looks like McNeil's going to play. Is he on the... No, what's happening here? Lindstrom's going to go to the left-hand side. McNeil into the hole. Calvert-Lewin's going to play on the right wing. And Beto will be the centre forward. Can Everton possibly, having thrown away the 2-goal lead to trail 3-2, could they possibly come back and still get something from this game? Here is Mangala, back to Ashley Young, hoisted forward. Beto involved for the first time, wins a header but can't find a teammate. And stretching for it was Lindstrom, might have been a high boot. Play answers the referee. McNeil over the top, looking for Calvert-Lewin. Out comes Martinez, way outside his penalty area, and he heads it away from Calvert-Lewin in the nick of time.
Connor, this is brilliant, isn't it? Literally end to end, still both sides going hammer and nail at it. Villa still chasing, they want another goal. Everton playing on the counter-attack, now Beto on and Calvert-Lewin. You would expect they're going to go a lot more direct.
Yeah, we've had a 2-week wait during the internationals for Premier League football to return, but this has been worth the wait here. Villa hoping that they're heading for another home victory. Matson under pressure by Lindstrom here, plays the ball in field, and Tielemans, with Garner breathing down his neck, will roll it back to Emi Martinez. Aston Villa 3, Everton 2, but that doesn't tell the half of it. Ball from Torres is straight to Michael Keane, drones from Villa fans. Everton get it back again. Lindstrom, up to Garner, playing a bit more attacking now, but he can't take them all on as he's eventually tackled, and Barkley picks up the loose possession. Sends a pass away to the right-hand side. No way forward for Lamar Bogard as that goes out for a throw into Everton. The clock ticks on, 8 minutes of normal time to go. Sean Dyche down there is steaming. You can see the steam metaphorically coming out of his ears. He's got the chest pumped forward. He's got the arms clenched, and he's watching what's happening here as O'Brien plays it up to Lindstrom. Poor first touch. Then it goes out off Rodgers for an Everton throw. Villa going to make another change, and this is a very welcome sight. Emi Buendia, who's had horrible luck with injuries, is about to come back on, and Villa fans are going to give him an enormous welcome back onto the pitch. The Argentinian, who had that ACL injury and hasn't played in such a long time. Didn't play at all last season, Emi Buendia. Free kick given against John McGinn here. That break in play will allow this change to take place. So there won't be a hat-trick today for Ollie Watkins. He is the Villa player who makes way, and on comes Emi Buendia. His first appearance since May 2023.
It's going to be like a new signing for Aston Villa, isn't it? We know that Villa were busy during the transfer window trying to bolster the squad for the Champions League, but a player like Buendia coming back, he really is a big signing.
He played for Villa's under-21 side in the EFL Trophy against Fleetwood 10 days ago, and he scored 2 goals, Emi Buendia. And let's see what he can do back in the cut and thrust of the Premier League. But it is always great to see a player after a long injury journey come back and be able to take part at the high level again. Aston Villa, who've come from 2-0 down today to lead 3-2, have got about 6 minutes of normal time plus the stoppages to hang on. Here's Maatsen, who's shown great patience coming into the game. Sprints to the corner flag left-hand side, up against O'Brien. Plays it off the shins of the Irishman, but Everton regain possession. O'Brien plays a 1-2. That's a bit dicey at the edge of his own penalty area. Oh, he's lost out to Maatsen. Here's Buendia. Well done, O'Brien, who battled to win it again when others would have given up. But then Beto can't keep it, and Villa regain possession once again. Let's go back to the Robert Trent Jones Golf Club in Virginia. Ian Carter watching the Solheim Cup.
Charlie Hull with a birdie at the fifth has taken the British pair of Hull and Hall one up on Alison Corpus and Lilia Vu, but in the other three matches out on the course, Connor, it's the Americans who are ahead. 2 up in the first, 1 up in the other 2. Remember, they lead 8-4 overall after this morning's foursomes.
Thanks very much, Ian. Unai Emery has blown a fuse here. He has got so riled up, so... what's the word, Paul?
Mr. Bean.
He's got Mr. Bean down there, and no, he gets a yellow card for just being a disgrace. I mean, I don't even think he gave any abuse to anyone, but he was just so animated, out of his technical area, that Craig Boston has said he's shown him a yellow card for his own good, and he's finally got and sat down again.
If you don't tune into Match of the Day for anything else tonight, you have to watch that.
That's a too good, too bad. Chappers will be listening to this, and I tell you, got to clip that for too good, too bad tomorrow. Unai Emery absolutely losing the plot. He's team 3-2 up. Here's Tielemans up towards Rodgers. This has been a great game. What a privilege to be here today. 4 minutes to go. Villa 3-2 up, having trailed 2-0. Buendia's done well in the midfield here. He's got a few options now. Gives it to the right-hand side to Rodgers. Shooting position. Lays it off though to McGinn. Here's the cross hung in. Maatsen at the back post. John Gerrard over the top. He chested it for himself, and then he tried to acrobatically volley, and the big tall Colombian couldn't keep it down. What a goal that would have been.
Tell you what, he's some player, John Duran, isn't he? You can see where there was plenty of suitors looking at him in the window. Unai Emery's done really well to keep hold of him. He's come on to that, another really good impact in the game. Made a real nuisance of himself. His first touch, he's got a lot of quality.
Aston Villa 3, Everton 2, Bournemouth against Chelsea to come at 8 o'clock. And all the action on Match of the Day tonight at 10:30 on BBC One. If you're out and about tonight, or if you're in the bed early, that will be repeated at 7:30 in the morning. So it has been non-stop, and it ain't over yet here. Emi Martinez's possession away to the right-hand side. Villa looking up to the big stadium clock and seeing those seconds ticking on towards the 90-minute mark, but they're not there yet. This is Rodgers in the midfield. Today is his 20th appearance for Aston Villa. Morgan Rodgers, who joined midway through last season from Middlesbrough. This is Konza at the back into Yuri Tielemans. Villa just need to hold the possession now. Don't give Everton any easy chances. Buendia, fancy South American flick, gets an ole from the crowd as he plays it back to Torres. Ball is popped over the top. Rodgers goes in pursuit, but it beats him and follows through to Pickford. So Everton have it back again. Jake O'Brien, right-footed up towards Calvert-Lewin, beaten to it by Pau Torres. Garner chests it down for himself in the midfield. Tielemans, though, great energy, slides in and wins it back for Villa. Buendia onto Rodgers again. Villa aren't fading late here. They've still got a lot in the tank. Rodgers goes down, fouled by O'Brien. Yellow card in his Premier League debut for Everton for Jake O'Brien. And a free kick to Aston Villa in shooting range.
Very direct there. Morgan Rodgers runs right at the heart of the Everton defence. O'Brien does really well to get blocking on him because he's going in on goal, but he actually concedes a free kick in a really dangerous area. We speak about free kicks being too close or too far. This one might just be out of Tielemans' range. Probably looked to deliver this one into the box, but a really good position for Villa.
Confirmation of the yellow card for Jake O'Brien, and this free kick which Villa will take their time over as we move past the 88-minute mark. If you're joining our coverage late on 5 Live, Dwight McNeil gave Everton the lead after 16 minutes. Calvert-Lewin doubled that lead after 27, but somehow Villa have turned it all around to lead 3-2. Here's the free kick played by Tielemans straight to the arms of Pickford. Now, do Everton have a big finish in them here? I mean, Sean Dyche desperately needs it. I think how excruciating are those interviews and press conferences going to be, where he's got to explain how his team, for a second game in a row, have thrown away a 2-0 lead to lose 3-2.
This one feels a little bit different. I mean, I know there was a performance in the last game for an hour or so, but today it feels like a point away from home would have been a really good result for them. I just can't help thinking Did he go to a back five too early? 25, 27 minutes left. Did he go too far with a back five? Did he think, right, we're going to try and get a point, when actually Villa have got the players, they're on top of you, they've got the players to hurt you? Did they create their own problems by going far too defensively with too much of the game left? Listen, it'll be interesting to hear what Everton fans have got to say. Phone Robbie, phone Chris on 606, because actually being here inside the stadium, there was a real shift when Everton went to that back five and they dropped deeper. The performance as a whole today has looked a lot better than recent weeks, but actually it was almost like, right, we need to hold on to a point, and for me it was too early on in the game.
08085 909 693 is the number to get involved on 606 here on 5 Live, coming up very shortly. 2-0 up again, you know, two games in a row. You've got to be more streetwise, you've got to find a way to keep that lead.
Just feel that they invited pressure by putting the three centre halves there.
Jadon Philogene has been brought on as a substitute for Villa. Interesting story, a year ago they sold him to Hull and they bought him back for about 4 times as much. As Garner gives it to Lindstrom on the right hand side. He's not made any impact really since coming on. He's done well here to give it back to James Garner, once at Manchester United. Take us on, Maatsen puts it out for an Everton throw. So Everton on the attack. We are inside 6 minutes now of stoppages at Villa Park. 5 goals in the game, 6 minutes to be added on. Are Everton going to join Southampton as the only Premier League clubs yet to get a point this season? Jake O'Brien takes the throw in. Mangala, did he handle it as he controlled the penalty area? Low cross straight to Pau Torres anyway, and Aston Villa able to clear the ball away. Take 2 for Jake O'Brien. He takes the throw in, gets it back from Garner. Rodgers tries to apply a bit of pressure. Nice shuffle from O'Brien. Here's Mangala, left foot across into the penalty area. Bogard with a header away. Ashley Young comes forward for Everton. He's clattered into by Jadon Philogene. That's a free kick to Everton just outside the penalty area. Ashley Young stays down. Winded, I'd say.
Great position for Everton. These are the opportunities that they're going to want. 5 minutes left of stoppage time. They're not going to make any apologies for putting the ball in the box. It's going to go in from anywhere on the pitch, and now they've got a really good opportunity in the wide left position to do exactly that.
Villa 3, Everton 2. Sean Dyche and Unai Emery standing on the very edges of their technical areas here, looking at this Everton set piece. Everton who've already scored from a free kick in the game, remember. Brilliant delivery from Dwight McNeil, was headed into the net by Calvert-Lewin. The last 4 goals that Calvert-Lewin has scored for Everton, 3 of them have been assisted by McNeil, but he's not going to take this free kick. It is going to be Lindstrom. Better angle for a right-footed player. But this needs to be precise. Villa brought everyone back to defend in a hushed descent over Villa Park. On a very loud afternoon, this is about as quiet as it's been. Can Villa defend successfully this free kick? Everton are going to give it everything to try and get it into the net. Here comes Lindstrom, short run up, cracks it in right-footed, and it's not away yet. Mangala tries to shoot, hoofed away by Pau Torres, much to Aston Villa relief.
Got a really good opportunity there. Mangala just misses his shot, just completely snatches at it, and Villa, anywhere will do for them at this stage. They just want to get the ball out the box, get high up the pitch of the defence. Decent ball in by Lindstrom. Mangala's got a real opportunity, just fluffs his lines, just snatches at the shot. Villa clear with ease.
Aston Villa 3, Everton 2. It's almost over here. Let's go across town to the cricket. Melissa Story.
Stage here, Somerset batting first. They're 63 for 4. Tom Abel and Lewis Gregory building a bit of a partnership, but those quick wickets putting Gloucestershire in a strong position to start off this final. So 10 overs gone, the score's 65 for 4 now.
Thanks very much. The closing stages of Villa Park. Lindstrom's cross too close to Martinez. The Argentinian goalkeeper catches it and lands heavy on the ground. And applause from the Aston Villa fans behind that goal, who know their team are nearly there. We are midway through the 6 minutes that have been added on.
These games were never going to be season defining for Sean Dyche, but they are when you've had a start to the season like Everton have. It's going to be a huge game for them today. They're actually given a good account of themselves, but they've been far too happy to sacrifice possession, to let Aston Villa have possession and sit deep.
Everton have got Southampton in the League Cup to come. They are away again next weekend to the Premier League, away at Leicester. Jadon Philogene goes down, a challenge by Ashley Young, and it's a free kick to Aston Villa, wide out on the right hand side. You can bet your bottom dollar they'll take their time over this, with this added on time going pass quickly at Villa Park this evening. Aston Villa 3, Everton 2. Villa, who were 2 goals down, and we can't repeat that particular part of this tale enough today. That is the story. 2 weeks ago, their last match for Everton, they were 2-0 up in the 86th minute. Bournemouth came back to win 3-2. Today they were 2-0 up before the comeback began ahead of half-time this time, but Villa completed that comeback with a worldie of a goal for John Duran, and I can't recommend enough how, whatever you're doing, find a way to see this goal. It is brilliant. Matson is going to take the free kick for Villa. He's waited as long as he dares here. Takes it, left-footed, into the penalty area. Duran gets up. Oh, he was nearly on the way down again with it. More hit him in the face than he hit it with his forehead. Good delivery from Matson, but Duran just wasn't in the right body shape to finish.
Probably the easiest chance of the game. He probably should have gone with his head instead of his nose.
Sliding in Duran and Tarkowski, who sells a nice little dummy there. Kicks it across to his old Burnley teammate Michael Keane. And then Tarkowski and Keane, as Everton teammates, they've only started 2 Premier League games that they've won. This is Keane again. Right-footed crossfield ball, looking for Dwight McNeil down the right wing. Villa fans, no one's taking it for granted just yet until they hear this final whistle, but McNeil's cross is taken by Martinez again. He's not been called upon all that much today, but he's had some big moments, and that's one of them.
Good goalkeeper, Martinez, and in big moments like that, you need your goalkeeper to be confident. That's 2 catches that he's come. He's relieved the pressure for his team. His back 4. He can run down the clock now and kick the ball down the field as far as he can. 2 really good claims.
2 goals from Ollie Watkins today. A worldie from John Duran. Aston Villa turning around that 2-goal deficit, and what good shape this will have them in going into their first Champions League game on Tuesday. Pickford comes out of his penalty area here to beat Morgan Rogers to the ball, and he clears it out of play into the technical area, where I think Sean Dyche is realising that his team are out of time here. A minute to go. Can there be one more Everton chance? They need to get the ball first. Matson prepares to take the throw in. Everton fans are heading for the exits on the far side. John Duran in a tangle with Tarkowski. Not easy to shift Tarkowski off the ball, and John Duran fouls him. And that is it. The final action of the game. What a comeback for Aston Villa. It is their 3rd Premier League win of the new campaign. Everton have lost their opening 4 matches of a league season for only the 3rd time in the club's history. The last time it happened was 1959. But Sean Dyche's team, who haven't won away from home in the Premier League since December, did have a 2-goal lead here today. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored the goal that put them 2 up. But even that lead was not enough. Just as what happened against Bournemouth, Everton crush to a 3-2 defeat. Paul Robinson.
Well, that's why we've got the best product in the world in the Premier League. What a game of football we just witnessed. The crowd have played the part, the players, the managers. We've had everything. It's been a real treat to be here this afternoon. And what a goal to win any football match. Brilliant goal by John Duran. Hard work in Everton, yet again conceded a 2-goal lead. Villa showed spirit, showed desire, got themselves back in it. Played really well at parts this afternoon, Aston Villa. But again, what a goal.
Ollie Watkins is in the goals, his brace, his first 2 Premier League strikes of the season. But we're going to be talking about that John Duran goal for a long, long time. He's way outside the penalty area. He absolutely pile drives it with a curling swerve away from the keeper into the roof of the net. It's a special goal for the Colombian. It is now 11 Premier League games against Everton without defeat for Aston Villa. They will go and listen to a Champions League tune in Switzerland on Tuesday as they get their campaign underway in that elite competition. But for Aston Villa today, it is that sweet taste of success. It is a day when all the heroes were villains. Aston Villa beating Everton by 3-2. 6:06 is on the way on 5 Live with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. But from me, Conor McNamara, and from Paul Robinson, that's it from us here at Villa Park. For now on 5 Live, it's news time with Jill McKenzie.